You like comedy and you love attorney Mo DeWitt. We love that guy.
Also, doing things for a great cause for Yellow Brick Road Foundation. And Mo's Comedy Jam is next Thursday at the Orlando Funny Bone.
Yep, that's Thursday, September 5th. Doors at 7, show at 8.
Yep, me and Daniel will be out there. A lot of listeners are going out. Great lineup. And again, it's all for charity, so it's all for a great cause.
Yeah, you got David Jolly, friend of the show from Kill Tony fame, Donald Evans, Rue Navasot, Austin Kleeman, Sabrina Ambra, and Ryan Holmes. You can see all of those comedians and probably meet them because they will be hanging out.
And thanks to Mo DeWitt for putting these awesome events on that benefit charity. And if you are injured on the go, just call Mo. Injured on the go, just call Mo.com. And come out and hang out with us at Mo's Comedy Jam next Thursday, September 5th at the Orlando Funny Bone.
MoComedyJam.com.
Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio.
It's a blast!
It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Hello. This is your Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan program. We hope that you will find our presentation precise, joke heavy, and just right. Thanks.
Welcome to the Friday free show of A Mediocre Time.
Yeah! It is another A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
On the couch, you know him, you love him. He's been eating meatballs. He's been doing comedy. He's been doing his podcast. From the Orlando Talk Show, it is Ross McCoy.
Hey guys,
How you doing, Ross?
I'll tell you a little something about the Mo chicken parm videos. That guy finishes his chicken parm.
He doesn't just eat a bite for the video?
I swear to God, I assumed it was kind of like a for TV situation. Maybe we'd have a couple bites of it. No,
I like it when you have the bite and then you spit it into a bucket.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you did.
And then you give it to homeless people as you're leaving. You're like, eat this, you piece of shit.
I brought some home to my wife. We both had a full chicken parm. That's rigatoni, the chicken parm itself, and then we split a chicken parm sub each, right? We split it half each. And so full chicken parm plate, chicken parm half sub. Like I said, I got a box of stuff to take home to my wife. Mo turned in a clean plate. He does not mess around.
I think that's too much.
I think that's too much too, right?
He does not mess around.
And I think he's been tightening up.
He looks really good.
He looks really good.
He looks really good right now.
So
I don't know what he's doing.
So he doesn't. Does he do that at every place, or is that all? Is that all he's doing? Is working out and eating chicken parm?
I don't know. Like, I feel like once you get to a certain level, you have some like mysterious injections and things.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want. I think you can do whatever.
Ozempic.
That's so funny.
No, Ozempic makes you not want to eat.
No, this is Mozempic.
The really good stuff, you eat whatever you want, still. You gorge eat and then still fit.
One of the proudest moments of my life was when I started working out a little bit and I got a little bit in shape. My dad came to visit. And at one point, I saw him take my wife aside and kind of whisper to her for a second. I was like, and later I was like, what was that about? And my dad was like, or my wife was like, he asked me if you were on steroids.
I like that.
Awesome.
I like it when people are like, oh, you're Ozempic, testosterone, all stuff.
He asked if you were on steroids.
It made me feel awesome. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
I like lying and saying yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I've been dabbling in some steroids.
Hard work does not. It's stress.
Real quick, I want to thank a new sponsor coming on this September. It's Bucket Brigade Junk Removal. It's a firefighter-owned company, and they service Claremont and Orlando area. So if you got junk you need removed,
yes,
Bucket Brigade Junk Removal. It's bucketbrigade.com or bucketbrigadejunk.com. Sorry, we haven't started the commercials
It's not
yet.
started yet. We can fuck it up because it hasn't started yet. It's bucket.junk. It's junket. It's junket.bucket.
Is that the brigade? Firefighter junk?
Brigade.
Bucketbrigadejunk.com.
There you go.
So, real quick, I know Daniel asked Ross this question before the show
Oh,
started.
you're eavesdropping on our personal conversation.
Yeah. Well, I want to see what you
did
guys
you know this motherfucker's listening to our personal conversation?
my God.
We're in here talking about our families.
I just go into the office and pretend like I have serious business if I'm standing right at the door listening. I'm like, you motherfuckers starting your own podcast? You tired of my bullshit?
Extreme paranoia. And he comes in with a gun. And then he's
I've got my drawer gun.
fucking murder suicide. Yeah.
No. I'm
You
not,
start a podcast with this motherfucker.
I'm not killing myself.
Tom, we could never put a podcast out of all that shit we were talking about our wives.
Yeah, we were talking. Yeah, Ross and I are going. Well, I was. I don't want to incriminate Ross.
Now we were both needy.
Fighting with my Ross. Fighting with my wife last night.
So Daniel asked Ross if he ever has done like a job retreat or office retreat.
Yeah.
I know we talked to Andrea, did that one, the side-by-side one in Georgia. But
all the nerds that she was with, I think I can say this now.
Yeah.
Because it's been long enough and I know they don't listen. It's all like, they were all nerds. And my wife was like the most manly person there because these are all programmers. So she was driving the side-by-side because she's like the most outdoorsy of all the nerds.
which is amazing.
It's amazing. She's Polish, white, snow-driven skin, like not really super outdoorsy.
So you saw the story. I haven't looked it up because you said you wanted to tell me about a office retreat in Colorado that I'm assuming went wrong.
Yeah, of course it went wrong. And by the way, this is an epidemic right now. This morning on NPR News, another old man died in the woods of Colorado hiking.
What?
Like, they've already lost, I think, 10 people this year in Colorado just hiking.
Yeah.
To heat? Like heat is...
They don't say, and Tom brings up some points, like it could be heart attack, it could be old. It
Probably
could
that
be,
legal weed.
It could be legal weed.
That's
Yeah,
what
a lot. Like old people that get in routines that if they walk every day in the woods, then they spend hours walking in the woods every day of their life. Like that's probably where you're going to die. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, you could have died there or in your house or whatever.
Let me walk you through this one because this one, like, I still don't fully understand why this happened. I mean, I can give you some ideas. This sounds like something we would do to EJ. Okay, so the headline is Office Retreat Gone Awry. Worker Rescued After Allegedly Left Stranded on Colorado Mountain by Colleagues.
Okay.
So the incident happened on Mount Shavano in Colorado's San Isabel National Forest. A worker on an office hiking retreat with 15 of his colleagues. He was stranded by 14 of his colleagues. They left him on the top of a 14,230-foot mountain.
Okay.
But we're talking about a grown-ass man, not a toddler, right?
Right, it's a grown-ass man, but this is from the...
They left him in what way?
Well, the Chaffee County, Colorado Search and Rescue, they made a statement. They said, in what might cause some awkward encounters at the office on Monday, one member of this party was left to complete his final push, the summit push, all by himself. The team-building expedition unfolded on Friday. This is last Friday. So they started out at the Colorado San Isabel National Forest, like trailhead.
base.
At the trailhead.
Yeah.
So initial reports to our communications center indicated a group of 15 hikers on an office retreat had left the Banks Cabin trailhead at sunrise that morning, with a group completing the summit attempts and a separate group ascending to the saddle area of the mountain and returning from there.
AKA the fat pieces of shit.
While 14 employees made it down the mountain safely, rescue officials said one was left to complete the summit push alone.
The cusp fat piece of shit. He didn't feel like he was part of the saddle group, but he really was.
That's the Tom Van of the group, where everybody else is like, I think we should turn back. I'm like, fuck that. We haven't made it we started this to finish it. I'm doing it. Everybody's like, we're turning around. So I'm like, going alone.
I don't know. I don't know if that's happened. So the lone employee made it to the summit at 11:30 a.m. But when he tried to descend, he, quote, became disoriented. Making matters worse, his colleagues descending the mountain ahead of him inexplicably collected all of his belongings left in a boulder field to mark his path down. So they went back down. He's at the top at 11:30. They're back down, and they took all of his markers to get him fucking home.
But he left his sweater and one of his gloves or something to mark the way back, like he's Hansel and Gretel with clothes.
Because I know a little bit.
Yeah, I
about
figured
this
you would be able to weigh in more than I would because I don't do this,
right.
and I've been to Colorado one time. I loved it; it's fantastic, but I'm not a hiking boy.
So first off, a lot of terms like summit and stuff like that, we immediately think of Mount Everest and shit, or some sort of.
This was 14,230 feet.
Yeah, but it could be 2 acres at the top.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And a lot of these mountains,
you're not standing on the tip of a needle.
It's a paved trail for the most part. It's a walk. You're not doing any serious climbing. You're not putting any ropes. It's just literally you're walking up to the summit, which could, like Ross said, be a gigantic area. We couldn't even not notice. The summit of Mount Everest is a fucking tiny little, looks like a summit. Most of these are big, and you don't even know. You're like, oh, there's a little sign that says you've reached the top, and you're like, oh, this is the top. Okay, But I will say that because me and Crystal were going to do Mount Soperus in Colorado. Once you get past the tree line, then there's a huge gravel fields usually from basically the mountain from freezing and unfreezing so many times, and now it's
like a version of
summer.
Erosion, right?
Yeah, there's no snow on a lot of these mountains. It could be a little cold up there, but it essentially you're not trekking through ice. But there's boulder fields.
Yeah, that's where he made it to. He said in his initial attempts
and that
to
could
descend,
be disoriented.
He found himself in a steep boulder and screen field on the northeast slopes toward the Shavano Lake when he became disoriented. The man whose name and company were not released, he used his cell phone to pin drop his location to his coworkers, who informed him. Hold on. They informed him he was on the wrong route. And then they instructed him to hike back up to the summit and find the correct trail to go back down. Just before 4 p.m. local time on Friday, he sent another location pin drop to his colleagues that he was near the corrected trail. Shortly after that message, a giant storm passed through the area with freezing rain and high winds, and he again became disoriented, losing all signal as well. He lost all of his silk. He was carrying. No, he lost his cell signal again.
Did it say in the story, he decided to, the other group turned and left?
They don't frame it like that. They frame it, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. They frame it like they were just fuck this guy, and I don't think that's what happened. I think what you're saying makes more sense. He's like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah, if you're out for a hike, there's only so much you can wait up for another guy who's, insisting on summiting. When you guys have already been and you're on the way back, you go to the base and you wait. And
so they started at, what time did they start at? They started early in the morning, then by the time, shortly after they got the message that the storm was passing through the area, his colleagues did call the Chaffee County Search and Rescue at 9 p.m. and 8.5 hours after he had started his initial descent.
Some of these, when we and Crystal were going to do Mount Soperus, it was an 8.5 hour there and back hike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
the rest of the office got it done before lunch. So,
I don't think they made it.
I don't think they turned. It sounds like they turned around, and he was like, "Well, fuck it, I'm going to the summit."
Because you know why I say that is because that's how a lot of the Mount Everest people die. Is that they get up to a certain point, and then one client or whatever is like, "I want to." I'm
not turning back.
The expeditions, the weather's turned, we got to go back, and
we don't have enough oxygen. There's a lot of good reasons not to go,
and the person spend a ton of money, and you got this far.
They feel like they're going to waste it all.
Yeah, and then they push themselves and die. You know?
Yeah. So they tried an aerial search, and they don't find this guy. They had a rescue helicopter out there that flew search patterns. They were trying to go around where he had dropped that last pin. They couldn't find him. He was dressed in all black clothing, which was really helpful. The lost hiker regained enough cell service on Saturday morning to call 911 and report his location, enabling rescuers to finally find him.
Oh, he was there all night?
He was there all night.
I've thought about spending all night in the woods, and you could do a night. It's just horrible. You know what I'm saying? Like we almost did a night.
Babies do it all the time.
Right.
There are always babies that are like, that baby was in the woods for 3 days, and I'm like, look at how cute he is.
Every 6 months, like clockwork, there's a story of like a 3-year-old lost in the Australian outback for a week and a half, and they find it fine.
Always. And the baby's always
He
fine.
survived drinking rainwater and eating bugs.
Yeah, this guy had fallen into a ravine. He couldn't get out.
You know, this happened. A similar story happened to Crystal's sister. I know I told the story, but her and a friend went hiking in some like New Jersey area or whatever, like upstate New York, and they went hiking.
It was the Pine Barrens, and they had to spend the night in a car. Had nothing but ketchup to eat.
And then we got a call. Like she told us, like, "Hey, I'm leaving for this hike or whatever. You're supposed to do. You need to tell someone." And
that also makes people think you're going to die, though. I feel like.
Well, we basically.
I'm taking a hike. Here's all my nicest possessions.
Yeah.
When we stopped, like Chris, it was like nighttime, and Chris was like, "I haven't heard back from Alex." And then she called like the Park Service, and the Park Service went, and their car was still in the parking lot, like, and no other car. It was that scenario, you know. Like Crystal freaked out. I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh shit," you know. And I was like, most likely they're still on the trail. They got turned around and
and they're on the trail.
Yeah, it's just you know, and maybe, and then even she said like her and her friend thought they were gonna have to spend the night out there because once it got pitch black and they had some like cell phone lights, but they're like, this is gonna die. And then if we, worst thing to do is like you lose a trail and start wandering off into the woods. Like better to just stay on the trail because eventually.
But the woods, it's so inviting. Look how beautiful it is. I just want to run through the woods.
That's how I die, by the way, because I'd be cocky enough and
there's a shortcut.
This is the way, and then I would just walk myself to death. It's like it's better to stay.
That's the most boring way to kill yourself. Walk yourself to death.
We went one time to this park in Georgia where like you parked and then you walked across this like old timey dam that from like where they'd like used it to like mill stuff or something. It was like old wooden dam, and you walk across and then there's like a big walking path on the other side. And while we were across the dam on the walking path, whatever the time was for that park ranger to come and lock the dam up happened. And so he locked the dam up on both sides. And by the time we got back around to the end of the trail, there was no way to get back across this dam.
No shit.
And so we were like, we were debating like either my wife was pregnant at the time. So like, should I swim across the front of this dam and like maybe get pulled over it to like
in front of your pregnant wife?
Yeah.
You go over the dam. Or no, Ross, no.
Or are we going to make a bed out of pine straw and sleep here for the night? But we saw like the park ranger like leaving, and we were like, yeah. We yelled and waved until he came, and he was like, you guys are lucky you got me.
Very similar to Jesus' story.
Yes.
A woman with child, no room in the inn.
Couldn't get into the dam.
Had to sleep on the edge of the dam.
And as long as it's not cold, like you could.
This was freezing rain.
Yeah.
Well, this guy got the reason Andrea was telling me the story, and I kept laughing because it kept up in the ante. It was like first he left with them. That's okay. Then they left him, and he's like, "Okay, we're doing." I'm like, "This is not going." Then he continued. Then the storm rolls through. Then he gets lost. Then he gets to Sorenton. Then he falls down the mountain. It's like it just worse and worse and worse and worse.
This is like an Afghani like teen trying to like evade religious persecution or something. Like that's tragedy. This guy is probably within a quarter mile of a snack shop at all times in America, and just this is happening because of his own hubris. Comedy to me. I think it's funny as hell.
Do you guys remember when the hottest item that you could buy if you were a rich dude is the Breitling watch?
Yeah.
It has the little antenna.
It has a one-time use aerial rescue feature.
Do you remember this? Our buddy Whopper Jr., Justin Clark, had that watch where it had a one-time use helicopter ride if you ever got like stranded somewhere.
Now I imagine
I'd have to use it. I'd have to die and then have them like come and get me, right? Or right before I die.
They probably have a lot of like GPS satellite stuff that's way cheaper now that is more consumer grade.
They do, but a lot of it is be like like I kind of got into a wormhole about like cheaper GPS tracking because it's funny that you even mentioned that because one day I was just laying in bed and I was like, why are Apple AirTags so cheap? Like something that would have been like years and years ago, the ability to track that would have been like
You had to go into a spy shop and talk to some
and spend
weird guy.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So like, and then AirTags, and I kind of felt, and then I started getting like thinking about it, and I'm like, I bet you these AirTags are used for more sinister things than they are used for
Absolutely
good things.
they are, yeah.
I don't think anybody uses the AirTag for their fucking wallet or their keys.
Nobody.
That's bullshit.
Well,
But
it's
to
like-
find your ex-girlfriend and kill her, that's what you use.
Well,
is the AirTag.
It's like hidden security cameras. You're like, you're putting that in the toilet.
Right. Yeah.
You're not trying to secure
if the tip
your...
of the camera looks like the squirt wand of a bidet, it's for the toilet. But so this thing.
Yeah, I think they even had to. Wasn't there like a lawsuit where they had to make the AirTags searchable? They had to make an app so you could like walk around your car. And,
it pops up on any phone. Like,
but they didn't used to. You used to be able to make them like secret.
Correct. And so now it pops up and says, oh, there's an AirTag in your vicinity. So, okay, getting back to my point, I was like in one of these magazines that Ross has got me addicted to where they sell like really shady knives and weird equipment.
What's up, Bud K?
Yeah, it was like a Bud K ad, and this was like, it's their version of the AirTag. It's a square, and it came with like, it basically told you in the ad, hey, if you want to stalk with this shit, go for it, dude. And it was like, it's a little square, black square, same price as an AirTag, super cheap, but you can use it and track somebody and murder them, and they won't get the thing that says the AirTag.
Yeah. No, well, 99% it's the wife thinking the husband's cheating.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that's why people are using them.
From what I recall of the AirTag lawsuits, it was almost always some creepy dude who saw like a lady out in public and wanted to follow her home.
No,
that
really?
was like what was happening. Yeah.
But the police have that really cool thing where it's like a magnet on the front of their car. And then if they're in pursuit of somebody, they just have to ram them, and it sticks to their bumper. Have you seen that shit?
No.
Oh, yeah.
They have this on cops now, or on live Patrol Live. Yeah, it's like a big
So
metal...
you can follow them with that without being chasing them.
Yeah.
That causes injury.
Yeah,
for other
you
people,
could like run over people or get into a car accident. So they smash into you, and it just sticks to the back of your car, and then they got you now.
It's only a matter of time before rednecks are using that to reverse tow wrecks all around town.
Yeah, they look super expensive, but it looks cool.
Hey,
because
AirTags were expensive
because they're like deploying tag, and you get to smash into them, which I think is really fun.
Wasn't that a feature of the Mach 5 too on Speed Racer? I think it had like those extendo tires,
the old Mach
giant
5.
saw blade, and it had a magnet thing. Yeah,
Can anyone name the monkey?
Chim Chim.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew you could. You didn't know the name of the monkey was Chim Chim, right?
So not to switch total gears.
Oh, let's gear it up, dude. We can go anywhere today.
But-
It's Friday. It's a TD Friday.
I'm curious to what Ross thinks about this because when I see something, it's usually nothing to most people, and then it bothers me for a long time because I'm trying to figure out what the person was thinking.
Like this one. I'm walking into Publix yesterday. Guy's unloading groceries into his cart, or from his cart into his car, and he looks up and to no one. I'm walking by behind him. He's not looking at me. He's not looking at anyone. He looks up and goes, I shouldn't have got that popcorn. It's been haunting me for like 48 hours now. Why?
Where was he talking about? At the movies? At the grocery?
So many questions.
Yeah, where was he talking about? Was he talking about right at that moment?
Right at that moment.
Did he put it into his cart?
I don't know. There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a regret, could be lots of, but yeah, you're right.
What is going to happen in his life negatively because he got that popcorn?
I have been watching Hard Knocks, which is an NFL show that follows around.
It's a reality show.
NFL team, especially.
Do they ever sing the song from Annie?
I'm sure they did put that in sometime.
Okay.
I bet Jay-Z was like, He's like, no, you're not having that.
And so it's on the Chicago Bears this year, and one of the Chicago Bears DBs, I believe, trying to make the team is Simone Biles' husband.
Yeah.
Right? He was on the Green Bay Packers last year, and now they dropped him, and then he's trying to make the Bears, which he did make, by the way. But anyway,
congrats, buddy.
So, and of course, the TV show and the producers like, we need to work in Simone Biles. Like in the episode, like they gave him leave so he can go watch the Olympics.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
Which I'm sure the other team was super supportive behind the scenes. On the show, they're clapping. They're like, yeah. Someone called.
We love the Olympics.
But, I mean,
I don't think that's
they
true.
busted his balls, right?
Yeah,
Go see your wife at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Anyway, or maybe not because everybody's at this point points. So it's a
She's
football
a
nerd.
different world now. Like
It is, I know.
NFL players could be soft for all I know. I don't know.
Well, she is.
They're definitely
also,
softer than they were.
She is also like such a high level athlete that maybe
It's
they
true.
don't. I don't know.
In the
I
Olympics-
want to think that they're like, that's a nothing, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're just like, oh shit.
And for
well, she does have
with
a
the amount of
presence.
exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, she's richer than most of the people.
Oh,
on the
she's
team
like
now.
one of the most famous athletes in
Yeah,
the world.
yeah.
And for top-notch athletes like NFL players, maybe they do respect like the
That's what I was
athletics
thinking.
of it all.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So you're full of shit, Tom.
Well, I just like the old
Fuck
school.
this guy.
Yeah, fuck him.
I like the old school '90s NFL.
Yeah.
You know, wherever the Richard Incognito, the bully.
Refrigerator Perry definitely would have given them a noogie.
Yeah, all the bully.
Richie Incognito was a piece of shit.
By the way, he's recently on Edelman's podcast and talking shit. And I'm like, I like it, Richie.
What's he look like now?
Same as fatter
is
than
he
ever.
fatter than
Oh,
ever?
yeah. But anyway, so in this particular episode, which is not this this last week was the final one, but it's like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
He comes back and then Simone Biles visits him
Yeah.
at training camp, right? So and of course since she makes her appearance on the show, like the camera crew's ready there
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
filming her and stuff because Simone Biles like is good for ratings.
Sure.
And
Just like in Receiver, Taylor Swift is in the show Receiver just because she's a huge presence.
now, Ross, I know you're not a huge NFL fan, but the Chicago Bears are huge rivals with the Green Bay Packers, right? They're in the same division, and it's a long time lasting rivalry. It's
one of the greats.
Green Bay versus Chicago. Their fan base hates each other, right? And
this is like the oblong ball, right?
yeah,
Okay. Gotcha. I'm in.
This is a throw ball.
The hand one.
I'm
yeah.
just giving you the backstory so
Gotcha.
you understand, right? So, and this, Simone Biles' husband, who used to play in Green Bay, right? He used to be,
Yep.
and so, and I'm sure she's got a lot of gear from when he used to play
Yeah,
there.
well, they cover that in her little documentary. They cover that for a while because she wasn't focusing on herself. She would try to like relax by focusing on his sports, right?
Yeah.
Because she was kind of having some issues and going through some stuff.
Sure.
So when she showed up to training camp, and then the cameras on, and I'm sure she knew. I'm sure she had to sign some stuff, and like it was an agreement. And she knows how her star power. Like they knew they were filming Hard Knocks and all that, so she knew she was going to get filmed. It's not like because I have to take into all this account. I'm like, did she know cameras are going to be
She's
there?
got
For
to.
every-
I think she's got to sign off on everything.
Yeah. When she leaves her house and it goes into public, I'm pretty sure she's knows that someone's going to be taking pictures of her.
Yeah.
She's a celebrity.
She does.
And so she showed up there and she's standing on the side as they're filming her, and she's wearing a Green Bay Packers jacket. And they even mentioned it in Hard Knocks, and I guess it was a Twitter thing. Like it went.
It made the
viral,
news.
It made the news.
It
and
was
stuff.
all over Reddit, all over the news.
And then I was like, "That's weird." And I'm like, "Did she do it on purpose to create some fucking controversy or whatever?"
She does not strike me as the type of person that would do things to distract other athletes.
Or was it just?
I don't think that's her vibe.
A brain fart, which is like obviously she's busy. She doesn't know the fucking like she's focused on her sports or whatever. I'm sure her husband, maybe she's familiar with the rivalry or whatever, but for sure someone around her had to have been where it's like, hey, you probably shouldn't wear the number one rival to your husband's. Like he's trying out for the new team and the direct right. Like the team doesn't give. Like first of all, these players don't give a fuck. It's the fans.
Sure.
But, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, these players are in it for the money.
Also, it's just
What?
like bottom line respect, I would imagine,
Yeah,
right?
and like, did she know, or was it on purpose, or a complete accident?
This was a hard one for me because, like, I watched her documentary and she's super smart and super she's like a super athlete, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to think that she didn't know, but it's also I absolutely don't think she did it on purpose.
Did she not think it would be a big deal? But then again, she's been a celebrity for so long. She knows everything.
But if she knew it would be a distraction to her husband, I think she'd be. You know what I mean? Like if she thought it would hurt his chances or make him look bad by proxy, I don't think she would do it.
Yeah. So Ross, what's your opinion on it? Because I don't think it obviously had nothing to do with, like, the team doesn't really give a, this is all fucking a giant business, and how much they care about rivals.
I mean, it really was
like
just social media was giving her shit.
Yeah. But it's like, why did that happen? How did that happen?
I personally have a wife. who's super smart.
She's super
very,
smart.
Yeah, very smart, very capable.
Yeah.
A great woman, and she loves me. Like, we wouldn't be here right now if she didn't love me. And, but about the things that affect me emotionally or are important to my life, she knows nothing.
Okay.
So,
We're
she
getting
could
a few of those in the chat room are going with Ross.
She could very easily like wear a piece of clothing, maybe even like something. I'm sure it was something like that he gave her that jacket like 2 seasons
It
ago
means
or
something
something.
to her.
And it's probably in her mind. It's my football jacket, so we're going to do football today. So I'll put on my football
She
jacket.
does wear it in the documentary. If that
Probably
helps.
doesn't even connect that it's a different team now, or that they might. I'm sure she's just like.
She's so focused on her own shit, she had no
Not
idea.
even that. She's like there, and she's about him, and she's like, "Look, I'm wearing the jacket you gave me 2 years ago to support your football
She
thing
did
or
what
whatever."
she thought was best,
Yes.
which was just a few layers too low in the real scheme of football etiquette.
She's either missing a little information
Yeah.
or a little bit of emotional vibe of it all, and she didn't put it all together in the right way.
Now-
or she would have just bought a new jacket or something. And like,
Now that's what made sense. But then again, I'm like, this person. Nobody around her told her, like, hey, everybody's gonna give you shit
big
about
deals,
this.
Sometimes big deals don't get told shit.
Not an assistant.
Sometimes
not
if you're a big deal,
a
maybe
friend.
an assistant.
Remember that time like Melania Trump wore a jacket. This is like fuck poor people to like a Katrina event or something. Like sometimes Melania Trump just puts that jacket on and nobody has the fucking balls to say, hey, it might not be the right time for that one.
Hey,
you
you're
know what
at
I'm
an
saying?
orphanage, for Christ's sake.
Yes.
Take the fuck poor people jacket off.
Yes. So every once in a
You can
while,
still wear it.
they see it happen and they know it's going to be a fucking train wreck, but they don't have the
That's
balls
pretty
to
good.
like flip the switch to prevent it.
Because I do, dude. I don't think you and me and even Ross, like, I don't think any of us can even understand how big of a deal she really is. And I think that, like, in the world of just pure athleticism, like when they say things like, they said things like this about Simone Biles, there will never be another one of her in her sport ever.
Yeah, it's an anomaly that everything came together to produce this hyper athlete.
She will always be the greatest. So I think maybe with that comes a little bit of insulation that you don't even create.
So her team won't say anything, and then you must think like when they get to the stadium and Hard Knocks takes over, one of their producers will say something, right? No, that guy I'm sure was like, no.
Oh, we want
don't
the drama.
say anything. Let her wear it. Let her wear it onto fucking onto the field, and like it'll be great.
And I hate to admit it, but I think you're 100% right about from the TV aspect of things. Once they saw it happening. If your question is, did somebody know she shouldn't have been wearing it? The answer is 100% yes.
Well, everybody in the team, her own husband, right? I'm sure. Now
I don't know. I have to. When she came over to him, was there any exchange? Do they cover any of that in the show?
Again, though, it's the players that don't give a fuck. Like, these players will
but I
play
think
anywhere, wherever.
I think he'd give her some shit. I think like a joke or something. Like, hey, why'd you wear that, baby? You know, like something like that.
Yeah,
he didn't do that, or
not on the show. I don't know. Because, we
don't know how they cut it up.
Yeah. This could be. She could have taken it off at the beginning, but they use it. She could have like,
you're right.
I didn't know.
Could be all a fabricated narrative that really only made the news because they put it in the show.
And,
you're right.
And then the fan base goes crazy on social media.
Oh, the chat room saying yes, he did. He gave her shit.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
But
funny.
But anyway, I was just like, I looked at it. I was like, no, I just assume, and this is the problem with most of my life, is that I assume that there are a lot of people around her and publicists, and and then like other friends and people are like giving her the heads up about shit.
Well, but we do see, you and I
like,
see
hey,
on a daily basis how rinky-dink is most shit.
It is more rinky-dink.
No, everything is, right? Like, Ross, the last couple times you've been in here, I think we've kind of always deflected back to,
I know.
End of the day, we're like, everything's kind of rinky-dink shit. Everything's kind of rinky-dink shit.
I know.
It's surprising the glue and string that holds the world together.
Yeah, like, aren't you daily, aren't you surprised at people doing business around you? You'll go like, wow, what is that? Like, we've had a lot of shit this week that you look at and you're like, what the how did that why is that happening? What is it?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing now. That's what I do. Is that I look around and like, what the fuck? And I'm sure they do it, people do it to me or whatever, but I'm just like surprised that it gets to this point where I'm like, how did
especially with like
know?
a rival too, like in a time when like you can't even wear Inter Miami shirt into the Orlando City supporter area. You couldn't wear their shirt in there. They're not allowed.
I mean, that would be the equivalent of
a
new player trying out and then someone wearing an Inter Miami shirt.
Oh, it's the same shit. Take the shit off.
training camp. It's like people,
Well, soccer, though, it is weird because in soccer, it is a little more aggressive. It is.
And permissive of that kind of stuff.
Well, because you kind of have more of that culture, I think, about you would never have that in stadiums.
Yeah, but in Chicago and Green Bay and some of those Pittsburgh and they're way more.
What's the worst one? Which is considered? I don't know why
Philly.
Why'd I look at you?
Philly,
right?
Philly, yeah.
I think ever since they got that rep for throwing batteries, Philly,
their fan base is crazy, and they take their rivalries seriously, as serious as a soccer. No
Serious
NFL
question.
team
Philly across the spectrum, and then football specific. You hear bad things about Oakland Raider fans. You don't want to go to Oakland with the wrong shirt. You will get your ass beat.
Yeah.
Well, it happens every fucking game. Yeah.
Well, they're felons.
And you're throwing used batteries, right?
Philly.
New batteries are so expensive.
You're taking the D cells out of your boombox and chucking it.
Wait till they're dead.
Battery throwing is a poor person's game. You're not throwing an expensive ass D full battery.
I heard there's actually stands outside the stadium that'll sell used batteries.
Get your used battery. Hey.
All right.
Take a little break, buddy.
Yeah, let's take a little break. When we come back, we'll talk to Ross.
Guess what we have this week? Can I say it?
You go ahead.
Dude, we got Explosion of the Week.
Dude.
No,
It's been a minute. I'm really excited about
this.
this.
It's a good one, too.
I'll tell you a story also how I think I accidentally signed up for the PTA last night.
That's awesome.
And,
There's going to be some changes around here.
PTA or PTO? Because very important distinction. Okay, all right.
And then also I kicked a muddy football into a black guy's head. Also yesterday. No, accident.
That is how you sign up for the PTA in Florida.
That was after the
That's a DeSantis rule. You have to kick the muddy football into the black guy's face. All right. This is weird. Speaking of black, the name of the artist is The Black Pacific. This is Jim from Pennywise. He put out an album in 2010 under the same name, The Black Pacific. It's a band, him and a buddy of his, lifelong friend. I loved it. When it came out in 2010, I was like, oh my God, this is so good. But I thought it was going to be like a one-off album. It's not. They got a brand new album coming out. The album is called Here Comes Our Wave. This is the title track from it, or the first track, rather. This is I Think I'm Paranoid. It's The Black Pacific. We'll be right back with more A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. 1-844-TOMNDAN if you'd like to call us.
We've got a bunch of great brewery and bar partners, and it's our Watering Holes program, tomanddanwateringholes.com.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what do I want to do with my significant other on a weekend night? Well, we got you covered. Whether it's the Breeze Whiskey Bar and Lounge in Kissimmee, you might be a highball man.
Yep.
Might get yourself an old fashioned.
Also, our watering holes are spread across Central Florida.
Yeah.
So if you live in Kissimmee, go by the Breeze, ask for a Tom and Dan pint glass. They'll give you one for free, and that lets them know that you heard it from us.
Yeah, Will's Pub, Lil Indies, and Dirty Laundry. That's a very unique little spot right there in the Mills 50 area, and it's like punk rock Disneyland.
Yep. If you want to go to a great punk show or other, Will's has some of the best acts come through there, and then their Dirty Laundry is their bar right next door. They're all combined with each other.
Here's all you need to know. Will's wins best bar in Orlando every year. So just go there. Let's go with Cafe Da Vinci.
Yep.
Can't forget those guys.
That's in DeLand.
Yeah, whether it's like reggae band, singer-songwriter, walking the streets of downtown, the award-winning streets of downtown DeLand, that Main Street area. Well, Da Vinci's right there. So that's the perfect, that is the, dare I say, the get it in date night. Can I say that? Can I say get it in?
Yeah.
Cabs here.
Their courtyard is beautiful, and they've been around so long that they have awesome bands come through there all the time.
Yeah, well, Dan knows what he's doing, and he books really good acts. Salty Sisters. Well, I'm going to add a little extra on this. You could go to Salty Sisters and get a hamburger and a cold beer, say hi to Tiffany, catch great music, play bingo, do all the fun stuff that she has. Or you can take your kid to her kid place. Not on the watering holes, but she has a whole nother business. If you want to know about that, email me, show@tomanddan.com.
Yeah, that's in Cocoa Beach. The Current Seafood Counter right there in College Park. if you're looking for awesome seafood, lobster rolls, blackened fish sandwiches.
They have a stalker now. I had a guy that voice messaged me and said, "Hey Dan, I didn't know about this place. $44. I stuffed my face." He goes, "I'm going back Friday and Saturday."
Yeah.
He's been going there every afternoon and eating his fill of seafood.
I've been dreaming about a blackened mahi sandwich with a margarita. Because they got custom cocktails there. And
Change your life, man.
A bunch of craft beer that are all like Northeastern themed. And
$7 cocktails.
And and great seafood. $7 margarita with a blackened mahi sandwich.
And some Old Bay French fries.
Yeah, a lobster roll. And the great Ale-Stone, that's in Longwood. Great beers. You can get 50% off their in-house homemade pizzas Monday through Thursday.
Yep, and then, of course, we have West End Trading Company, Celery City Craft, and Tuffy's Bottle Shop and Lounge.
Yeah, Tuffy's gets amazing acts. Those are all in Sanford as well. Anyway, check them out at tomanddanwateringholes.com.
Oh, man, Gag Man. He's here. Oh, wow. Wow. Welcome back to Mediocre Time with Tom and Dad. I am Dad.
I'm Tom.
We got to stop talking about rotten fish on the breaks.
Yeah, man. My daughter had a shark in a jar. We're redoing her room, and the shark, Andrea's like, "Come here!" Like, so that's how. By the way, that's how I'm for everything that I'm asked to do. That's how I'm. Come here.
Where did you guys get yours? We got ours at 3 for $10 towels.
We got ours. It would have been like that. It was on iDrive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We were out of cocoa.
Yeah, we went.
Mine's probably fresher because it's from the beach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We definitely we were for a city shark. So we had the formaldehyde shark for Maisie's original room was all old Florida.
Yeah.
She did decide to keep her alligator head, and I hugged her. Like when she wanted, she's like, "I'm keeping this," and I hugged her. I'm like, "Oh my God!" I start kissing her face. I'm like, "I love you so much. Thank you for being trashy." But she wanted to get rid of the shark because he started leaking blood out of his nose. The baby shark in the jar was leaking blood out of his nose. So then Andrea went to throw it in the trash, and I think for some reason she smashed it in there.
And
because that glass is wafer thin.
Oh, it's wafer thin. And then we got can only be described as 1 billion 10-year-old dead shark maggots in our trash can.
That is gross.
So I need those trash can guys to come by. You ever that new scam? They come by. They're like, ding ding ding, knock on your door, and it's usually a good-looking man. And he's like, "I'll spray your trash cans out for $100 and make them sparkling clean and wax them. We'll wax your trash cans." Have you seen those guys?
I've seen there's like a truck now that will do it.
Yeah, it's got a hole, and it takes the trash can up, and then it puts it on a nozzle, and it sprays it and shakes it. Yeah, and then it takes it out, and then you give them like way more than it costs for them to do that, and then they drive away.
I got a hose if I care to do that.
Yeah, you're right. Also, like, what do I need to clean for?
Right.
I'm throwing trash.
Oh, damn! Look, Andrea sent me pictures. Okay, here you go, Ross. There you go. Oh, look at. Oh God, that's the blood coming out of its nose. I'm gonna barf. No. I can't even put that up for the listeners.
Weird. Why is it like it's been in there for years? I mean, you put that in there when Maisie was born, so it's been at least 9 years old. You know, I mean, got to be 10.
Oh. Gag man's here. Holy crap! Wow.
So Ross, you got an explosion of the week?
I do, Tom, and I'll tell you right about it after I tell you tonight at Framework Craft Coffee House on Mills. Doors at 8, show at 8:30. Dan's favorite show, it's What Do You Want From Us Live. Yes. Me and Larry Fulford, our guests tonight. Jake Clark, Danielle Mathis, and the amazing Marcus Crespo. $10 at the door. That's tonight at Framework Craft Coffee House. Really cool place. They got tits stickers there, dude. Look at this I4 sticker on the back of my phone. Got that at Framework.
Oh wow, I like that.
Going to be a great show tonight.
I thought it was a sticker of tits at first.
10.
I like that's why I'm into that.
I wouldn't be surprised if you could get one of those too. And let's talk about the Mo Comedy Jam. Dan, while you got your text messages up, I just sent you this new promo that Busdecker's got out. This is how disrespectful the promotion for the Mo Comedy Jam has gotten. He put out a post. This is Busdecker. We're a week out from the third annual, just called Mo Comedy Jam. It's going to be a killer show with Sabrina, Ryan Holmes, David Jolly, Donald Evans, Austin Kleeman, and Rue Nafasat. Mo DeWitt will be there too. MoComedyJam.com. So he's put out the poster flyer, which has everybody's face on it except mine, and then he's put up an additional picture of everybody except me. The fuck, Busdecker?
I don't think he likes you.
What the fuck, Busdecker?
I don't think he likes you. He did something similar like this to Tom.
Yeah.
Like there's a bullying type thing, right? Like that he does.
But it's morphed over to Ross.
It has sort of morphed over to Ross.
Anyway, come see me at Framework tonight and at the Funny Bone on the 5th of September.
There
David
you
Jolly
go.
headlining. It's going to be a great show.
Are you ready for some explosive intro music, sir?
I'm sorry.
Let's do it.
When the news isn't good, neither funny nor unique. When there's been no confrontation, Ross's life fairly bleak. People getting blown up is always pretty sweet. Explosion of the week.
All right.
It's so fucking good. It's so fucking good, dude. Thank you, Jackal. That was well done, man. Well done.
It is a cuckoo clock explosion this week. So, Tom, when you want an explosion of the week, there's certain places you go.
Okay.
1947, the Texas City disaster.
Okay. All right. So that's what it's being called.
We're back in Texas, baby.
Yeah.
The Wikipedia article, if you want to follow along at home, is the Texas City disaster, April 16th, 1947. Texas City is a port city, Tom. So these dudes rolled this French registered vessel, the Grand Camp, on into the port there one day.
Camp.
All right.
On board, what do they have? They got about 2,300 tons of ammonium nitrate. They got a bunch of like twine. They got some tobacco, peanuts, small arms ammunition, engineering equipment, and cotton.
So what was the first one you said?
2,300 tons of ammonium nitrate.
Ammonium nitrate, like
Yeah, they use it in fertilizer, probably.
or
Okay.
explosives.
Yeah.
yeah, nitrate's a weird thing. I don't understand it. It's like people take them if you're like nitrates. I don't get. You can go in your butthole. You get a low blood sugar. Like you're not supposed to eat them. Bacon's got them. They blow things. Like what is it? I don't know. I don't.
Fertilize, like plants,
I don't
like with the same thing. Explosives. They're weird.
I don't understand any of it.
Science. How does that work?
We'll get to the ammonium nitrate in a second, but if you just the composition of this big metal boat, just it's got a bunch of like small arms ammunition, twine, cotton, and this highly explosive ammonium nitrate, and it's basically a giant fucking bullet floating there off the coast of Texas. So the ammonium nitrate, it says here, was needed either as fertilizer or an explosive. Manufactured in Nebraska and Iowa, shipped to Texas City by rail. It was a patented process. They mixed it with clay, petrolatum rosin, and paraffin wax to avoid moisture caking. Packaged in paper sacks, and then transported and stored at higher temperatures that increased its chemical activities. The dudes loading the bags that day said that they were warm to the touch when they were loading them. So we got like this stuff has been like on a hot train, and they go and throw it in a hot boat
In a paper bag. Right?
Yes.
I like that it's paper bag.
Yeah. You're loading explosips. You're like, God damn, these are hot. That's what I was like. I'll find another job. I'll find something else. Like this is not.
What's wrong, Tom? You're not loading your hot paper bags.
And I don't know about clay and rosin, but petrolatum and paraffin wax both sound super flammable too.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I thought paraffin isn't that the nice wax?
I think that's
Isn't
the
that
one.
the wax you can drip on your titties? Paraffin? Paraffin's the one that cools fast, I think.
Here's my one fun fact about paraffin. I remember that's what Billy sends his brother into the basement to get in the novel It, to like make his little boat.
And then they all go into
waterproof.
the sewers and suck each other's dick.
That is, but no, they gang raped the one girl.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're right.
yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
It was not one good. Everyone's getting their dick sucked. The other bad. The other was bad.
The morning, Wednesday, April 16th, 1947, about 8 a.m., they see some smoke in the cargo hold of this boat.
It's always
Tom.
in the morning too, isn't it? Haven't most of these explosions been in the morning?
They later thought that maybe like somebody chucked a cigarette down there and it had been kind of smoldering overnight, but like they noticed it. The first signs of smoke are in the morning, about 8 a.m. A couple guys throw a gallon jug of water on it, and they use 2 fire extinguishers, but no effect.
Okay.
Cargo hold starts to fill up with smoke. The captain is like, hey, stop all this water bullshit. You're going to ruin this goddamn ammonium nitrate. I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah, you're ruining my cargo.
He says, seal all the hatches and we're going to pump pressurized steam into the hole to put this fire out.
All right.
Hold on a second. That sounds like a confident Tom Van plan. Let's pump it full of steam.
I don't know if I'm like doing the math, and I know this is 1947. Not much math going on, but
Yeah, it was there. It's just simple, rudimentary.
But I imagine that someone knew that there are tons of explosives, or what could be explosives, on this ship, and once there's fire, I'm getting the fuck out of it.
Right.
There's no because I'm at any moment. I mean, we have a megaton bomb here.
Am I correct in thinking that maybe they're pressurizing the wrong? Is this going to make things worse?
This is from Wikipedia. We may need like a science expert to explain these sentences to us, but I think you can follow along generally.
Yeah.
Well, it's not dud of the week. So
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah, I think I know where we're going.
Sponsored by Power Spot, no dud guarantee. Explosion of the week. This was unlikely to be effective. The steam of it all. This was unlikely to be effective as ammonium nitrate is an oxidizer, thus neutralizing the extinguishing properties of steam. The steam may have contributed to the fire by converting the ammonium nitrate to nitrous oxide while augmenting the already intense heat inside the ship's hold.
Oh, shit. So it changed the actual chemical process of what was in there and made it even more flammable because they introduced steam?
And homie also is putting the shit under pressure as well. At the
Right.
same
Well,
time.
that's what I was saying. I was thinking
Yeah.
about the pressurized steam, and I'm like, well, okay, like it'd be almost like if you had a pressure cooker, right?
Yeah.
But inside your pressure cooker is dynamite. But it's under pressure.
Yeah.
The dynamite isn't necessarily going to blow up the pressure cooker, but the fact that it's under pressure isn't going to make your predicament any better.
Speaking of power spot,
that pretty accurate?
Your salute crackers, it's like a regular firecracker encased in concrete, and that like pressure makes it pop louder and harder.
I never knew that.
Fun fact.
Damn.
Also,
It's concrete?
I'll show you some next year when some of those like bigger like M80 looking ones.
No, I've seen the stuff in. So
it's a regular, and then it's just cheap Chinese concrete around
So
it.
they just use like brittle concrete to give it that extra amount of pressure.
kind of pressurizes it. Yep.
and
Did not know that.
And sometimes with these big disasters, what causes it ultimately is someone trying to stop
help.
it.
Yeah.
Bad decisions.
And if they never did anything,
That's what I tell
that
Andrea about
wouldn't happen.
overhelping. What do I tell you about overhelping, Andrea? You're making things worse. We were covering this last night during one of our horrible fights.
That happened with, I think, the Concorde crash or whatever, like some plane crash where the pilot turned off the other engine that wasn't on fire, and then they said, like, if he wouldn't have done that, it would have been fine, but because he turned off, he did the wrong thing trying to help, fucked it all up, So by them pressurizing it, made it worse.
So you remember we started the process about 8 o'clock. 8:30, the steam pressure is so great it blows off the hatches. Big column of yellow-orange smoke billows out.
Oh, yellow-orange is never good. Oh, man. Yellow-orange is real bad. I'll even take jet black over yellow-orange.
A column of smoke to begin with, and it is not your traditional black smoke. Yeah, just bad. Bad. And it's so weird. A bunch of people like gather on the shore to watch. They're like, look at this shit burning down.
Jive Turkey in our Twitch chat room says, now it's atomized, super flammable. He's adding it.
He's right.
This guy knows his stuff. He's thank you for building the tension.
So let's talk about the first explosion. Okay, we're started at 8:30. The hatches blow. 9:12. The ammonium nitrate reaches an explosive threshold from the combination of heat and pressure. The Grand Camp detonates. Utter destruction within 2,000 feet. The blast produced a 15-foot tsunami and shockwave, leveling nearly 1,000 buildings on land.
Whoa!
A Monsanto chemical plant nearby flattened, killing 145 out of 450 people in the factory.
Oh, no shit.
Flying shrapnel. This is in Texas.
Flying shit shrapnel.
Flying hot steel shrapnel all through the air. Hits a bunch of refineries and chemical tanks along the waterfront. Boom. More fires everywhere. The anchor. 2 airplanes blown out of the sky.
Oh, dude,
Oh, my
this is
God.
one of your greatest ones ever, man.
Airplanes.
2 airplanes.
Was it just from the pressure of the blast, or did they get hit with debris?
Must have been the shockwave. Yeah, it says blown out of the sky, so it must have just been like Air
Oh my
Force.
God! You got a little leather hat on. You're whoosh! Oh my God!
Yeah. I never thought about like a shock wave affecting
In a
an airplane.
shitty, but in a shitty plane, not even a good plane. You're You're up there you're propellering around.
Everybody on the Texas City Volunteer Fire Department except one guy killed in the initial explosion on the dock. Fires everywhere in Texas City at this point because like the ship, like hot metal and like burning twine, for example, just falling from the sky everywhere. And then so that
I like that you laugh as you continue.
I mean, that's scary. I mean, an
That's super
explosion
scary, man.
of that magnitude. Like remember when that giant fertilizer plant or something exploded and there's video of it on fire, and then when it goes off, it's so violent and gigantic that it's hard to even fathom like the power of it. It was like, and then all of a sudden you see the shockwave go out, and
It's
then
like
all
going,
the
it's like
sound
walking
hits
into
you.
heaven where everything just turns white.
You're like, oh my god.
So let's talk about the second explosion.
Now you would think that would blow up everything and blow out everything.
Oh yeah,
People were
and,
still trying to help.
and set the whole goddamn city on fire too. Like again, we're just raining flaming cotton from the sky, steel shards flying by. So the first explosion blew away this boat called the High Flyer, right? And it came to rest, and then later that afternoon, two guys come on to the High Flyer looking for injured crew members, and they notice that ship is really fucking on fire. And so they report it about 11 p.m. Some tugboats come in onto the scene, try to pull it out like into the harbor away from the city, but they cut the anchor, can't get it to move, and then so they work till like 1 a.m. on it, trying to move it out of the city. But they can't. They decide, let's get the hell out of here at 1 a.m. At 1:10 a.m., the High Flyer explodes, kills two more people. The explosion, described by witnesses, is more powerful than the initial explosion.
More powerful? The two airplane one?
Yes, but nobody's around, so there's no casualties
They've already
this time.
the area's clear.
This
probably,
just
at this
like
point.
knocks. And if there's a fucking like warehouse that's kind of leaning on its skeleton, this one just knocks it the fuck down. Again, metal chunks raining down on Texas City, fires everywhere. A propeller of this ship blown off and found a mile away inland. This is considered the worst industrial accident in U.S. history. 405. I'm sorry.
You know how big that propeller is too, for it to be blown a mile away.
Like how big would that propeller be?
As big as this room. Yeah.
It'd be humongous.
So let's talk about the dead. 405 identified.
Damn.
63 never identified. There's a memorial cemetery in the north part of Texas City where those guys all got buried. 130 people classified as missing because there were no identifiable parts ever found.
It's just vaporized.
It's including all the firefighters. And that there's speculation that like hundreds, if not thousands of more were killed, like undocumented people visiting seamen on boats or whatever, laborers.
Yeah, for sure, there was just like a random homeless guy walking. You know, like
correct.
Hey, you guys are boom! Oh,
that is crazy.
More than 5,000 people injured, 500 homes destroyed, 2,000 people homeless, seaport destroyed, 1,100 vehicles damaged, 362 freight cars obliterated.
How many?
362 freight cars.
It's really hard for me. Yeah, but it's still difficult for me to envision 300 freight cars, dude. Plus, it's more than that.
10, 30 car trains. Just,
like you're talking about an area like almost the entire size of Baldwin.
Yeah.
Like this entire, imagine, because this used to be the naval base. Yeah. So imagine this entire area gone.
2,000
tons
feet
of
around.
explosives. Damn. Gigantic mega bomb.
With metal raining down in Kissimmee too. That fucking far. So property damage estimated in 2024 dollars about 1.1 billion.
Wow, man.
And that's not even counting about 5.4 billion in just oil and oil products that burned. The anchor of the initial boat was hurled 1.62 miles. How much did it weigh? 2 tons.
Damn, man.
They found it in a 10-foot crater. It's in a memorial park now.
Yeah, I was I'm wondering if they still have it. Yeah, you got to keep that stuff, man.
The other one, a 5-ton anchor was hurled a half mile, and they got it at the entrance to the Texas City Dike.
I know her.
It's weird.
Comedy.
It's weird that the propeller was blown upward because it's underwater at the time. You know what I'm saying?
I would like to think that it hit the ground and bounced back up.
Like the ground of the bay.
It went to the bottom of the ocean and then straight back up.
Yeah. You would think that it would be blown into the water or something, or downforce because the cargo's up. I don't know.
Explosions are weird.
Or maybe the cargo's below the actual propeller or level to. I don't know.
Water is almost like money. It's hard and heavy and it's loud. But like air,
Where'd you hear that?
There's nothing there. So it probably the path of least resistance. It flew off into the air.
What kind of airplanes got blown up?
That information I don't have. Yeah,
were they passenger jets? Imagine it being in one of those.
It's
oh my God.
sightseeing airplanes, and this is 1947. So you're probably talking like your standard Amelia Earhart, type.
God.
It blew the paper off the wings. Those shits are made of paper.
My goggles.
That one though, imagine being in that plane, blast wave, the paper's gone from the wings, and then you just start falling out of the sky
into a fireball.
Jesus Christ!
Because the whole ground is fire.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
These are the kinds.
This is a good one.
These are the kinds of things that change regulation, right? Like after this, they're like, all right, no more putting the twine and the or whatever.
No more fireboats.
Or they because with every disaster, like things do get safer. That's how it works. Like planes and they start. They're like, oh, what caused this? Like, let's make sure this never happens again. And now they have new regulations.
I wasn't necessarily going to bring it up, but since you did, this resulted in a huge legal case. Right, it became a big legal case that all wrapped into this one called Elizabeth Dalehite et al. Versus the United States. So basically, they sued the United States government, which they alleged had basically made a lot of poor decisions along the way with the making and the packaging of this ammonium nitrate, right? And
weird, doesn't sound like my government.
They've got my best interest at heart.
In 1950, a district court found the United States government responsible for a litany of negligent acts, errors in transport, storage, loading, fire prevention, and fire suppression, all of which led to the explosions and the subsequent carnage. But in 1952, Circuit Court overturned that decision, and then the Supreme Court came along and said, no, the government was fine.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, hold on, aren't you the government?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I need some other countries on the goddamn.
Can somebody else weigh in on this, please?
There's some Russians.
Can we get a second opinion?
Yeah.
And I'm not a lawyer, but they basically they overturned this decision and basically said, no. Even though it resulted in what is called the worst industrial accident in American history, the government meant to do right. So we're overturning.
It was their intent. God damn it, you said it before I could say it. It's the intent. What was the intent? The intent was to get the ammonium nitrate down the river.
And then so in 1955, Congress actually had to step in, and they tried to provide the city some relief with legislation. Last claim process in 1957, about 1,400 awards totaling about $17 million.
Okay.
That's it?
Remember, we were talking about like
Billions.
$6 billion in damages. Yeah,
here's 17.
17 million in 1950 is a good amount.
Probably about 100 million. So
Yeah.
Interesting. It's also what always makes me crazy about these stories when you tell them not that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then if you look how people lived in the 1950s comparatively, it does seem archaic. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, they wore their pants over their belly button. Do you notice that? Every man.
Nobody knew nothing about anything because there was the information spread
Should I start wearing my
slow.
pants over my belly button?
You can? Yeah, that is a
No, but that's
old
where...
man.
No, that's what you're supposed to. That's what a gentleman wore his... That's your
their
waist.
Yeah.
I think that becomes a nut retention device after a certain point. Because
you get long balls.
Yeah, they start falling down.
You got long balls yet?
Oh, my God.
I don't have long balls yet.
Jesus Christ.
But I think I'm getting them.
Yeah,
Do you have long balls yet?
I don't think so, but I haven't measured them.
Yeah, but did you know that this guy, he fucked Crystal one time so hard that he fucked his balls black and blue?
No, I
because they were slapping. So I think you were. I think you had. No, it was one time at the radio station, and one time you're like, I need to show somebody because I don't have any friends and I don't want to go to the doctor.
I do have to hike my shorts up when I'm doing. I was telling you to do kettlebell swings.
Yeah.
And if I don't hike my shorts way up, I will smack myself in the balls with it.
Now, okay, maybe I do have them because if I'm putting on socks in the morning.
balls get stuck in your sock.
Balls get stuck in my sock.
Okay.
No, I can like
That's a tell.
You know that move where you're putting on socks and then you let go. Like I like my socks high.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling up high, and I know you like high socks. So I'm pulling my socks up high, and then sometimes I'll my fingers will slip, and my heel will kick me right in my own balls because I'm short.
Okay.
So I can kick my own balls. I can.
Well, that's a sign.
Like, look, I can do this. I can do like this. I can go like.
Okay, yeah. You got long balls. I can
I can kick my own balls.
When's the last time you got like really whacked in the balls by surprise? Yesterday.
Oh, really?
It is a shock.
It's a shock. It hurts way more when you're older.
I'm dog sitting for a friend, and so I was over like. I fed the dogs, walked them, and I was just kind of hanging out for a minute, so they got a little human interaction for the day. And I was sitting in a chair, and I was like really splayed out, like I was like laid way back, and I'm like fucking around on my phone, and I'm just like balls forward in the chair, and the little dog ran up at speed and gave me 2 paws right to the balls, like he fucking dude, it pinataed the hell out of him, and I was like, Gah!
It's a weird feeling now. I used to remember it as pain. It's not pain. It makes instant gag man. It makes me like. Whoa.
Yeah, it's more of a pressure than anything.
Yes.
Than a pain.
And it lingers.
It's in your stomach.
And it doesn't go away until like you can almost disconnect your brain from it. Oh God, absolutely terrible.
All right, so I'll tell you this PTA story real quick. So last night.
So what are you gonna do, bro? You gonna make some changes?
Hold on. I'm the worst person to be involved with any committee at any because I'll
make some changes around here.
If you bring me in for your meeting and committee, like, I'm going to start asking all types of questions about what is going on and
start cutting funds.
And then I'll quickly realize that none of this will do nothing and all pointless, and then I'll be never show up.
Yeah, the PTA has no power or responsibility.
You're fine. Nothing will change. I hate meetings.
Nope.
Nothing has ever come from a meeting ever good.
No, we talked about that this week.
Meaningless. Anyway, but I like people trying to help their community. And
oh my God, the chat room is crushing you today. Toms of Liberty is very funny.
So Max and Tommy get home yesterday, and they're like. Because the school has these lady
teachers.
No. Like
I don't think broads know nothing.
I forgot where they're like meetups, unofficial like meetups that at a particular place.
Cash grabs. Are they cash grabs? Are they educational cash grabs?
I haven't figured out who's getting paid yet because I did. Believe me,
follow the money.
They'll have them at like a local restaurant or whatever, and then they're like.
And the school gets 10%.
Yeah, and the school
fundraiser.
But it's like and it's like I forgot what they're called. They're like
and the principal will like make the burritos or something.
They're like a rally night or something like a spirit night. They're called like a spirit meetup or something.
That's because they don't like using the word fundraiser.
Yeah.
Tom's like, this is something. It's like a spirit of excitement. I don't know what it is.
We've been to them before, and it's like we show up at Culver's, and
I love Culver's. You just have a custard like a rural American and a smash burger.
And there's kids running around everywhere. And then the kids get to see their friends and the parents. And then I just look around. I'm like, who's getting paid? Who's making the back end money on this?
Who's paying for all these custards? God damn it! Tom Man here. Yeah. I'm here to ask questions.
And so because even with 10% going back to the schools, Culver's is making out. I know business. Like we'll give 10% to charity.
I can already hear him saying it's not even worth it. You're getting nothing. Culver's is making all the money.
Yeah. Like, listen, buy a Tom and Dan T-shirt. We'll give 10% to charity. I'll raise the prices 10% before we do this. But it all works out.
Gotcha.
Anyway. I'm just telling you the business how it works.
We understand.
So then but this one's at Firehouse Subs, right?
Oh, I haven't had a Firehouse in years.
So I'm like,
Captain Sorensen's pepper sauce.
So we go in there and
welcome to Moe's,
and it's packed, like shit slammed, obviously because it's not that big of an area. Which I also was surprised they chose like a small, sub shop.
Firehouse is that thing where like every day of the week though they put out a new name that gets a free sub or something, and I feel like they're always slammed because of that. Like it's all Allen's one day, like give them a free sub.
Fuck Allen's.
So we walk in, and then there's some sort of meeting going on. And
Somebody stole all the Captain Sorensens.
And then it turns out that my sons mistook like the PTA meeting group, whatever, with the Spirit Night that they were used to going to.
Well, why'd you take their word for it? You just do whatever the fuck they say. They're like, God, Culver's. Guys, you got a PTA meeting? Yes, sir.
They just wanted to fool it.
Yeah, I do anything anybody says. So I'm not going to... Yeah, I just trust them.
You didn't even vet that it was a real meeting.
They just wanted a meatball sub fully involved, and they worked you, dude.
Yeah.
That hook and ladder's pretty delicious, man.
Also, I just assumed Crystal would like look it up or whatever.
Was it
I don't
just
know.
you and them?
What do you mean?
Was it just you and the boys?
No, Crystal was there too.
Oh, because I was going to say, if it's just the boys, the Van Men, that's a recipe for disaster, I would imagine.
And so when we walked in, and then everybody looked, and we're like, hello, and then I'm wearing like the school T-shirt because I want to be
They're like, oh, our president's here.
No, I just want to tell, like, look how involved I am with my sons.
Take a picture.
Yeah,
I bought a T-shirt.
yeah, like, I'm dad of the year. I just care what other people think.
That's what I take a picture of me and Maisie and her dance. I haven't seen Maisie in 6 months.
Yeah.
I just show up to the dance thing. Andrew and I are on the rocks.
You should get a T-shirt printed up that says like your kid's school dad of the year. And, like, who can refute it?
Yeah. So then
that's actually a really
it's
good
not a bad idea.
I might steal
this
that.
is an offshoot of my thing where like my neighborhood doesn't have a yard of the month sign, so I want to get one and just put it in my yard to fuck with people.
Okay, if you buy me a shirt, I'll buy you a sign.
Okay.
And then we're not as culpable.
It's
I feel
true.
like, right?
Strangers on a train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So then they're having the meeting, right? But the person in charge is having the meeting, and everybody else is crowded around. But it's because it's so small, you have to walk through. Like the order is on the other side, right? So I'm sitting there. I'm like, God damn, I'm hungry.
I want a hook and ladder.
And I'm like, do we have to wait till the end of the meeting, or like? And then I kept waiting for other customers to come in, so I could just follow them to the order.
Nobody's coming in.
Nobody one's coming in.
Yeah,
it's just all the school.
Boy, sounds like Firehouse Subs is really making out. Boy, they're really...
So you needed someone to break the Captain Sorensen's cherry to get you in the line.
Because I see there's no one making orders. So but I'm like, I just want my goddamn hook and ladder.
They're pretty good. Pretty good.
So then I'm like, I'm standing there. I'm like, and I'm waiting for a break.
Did you guys decide you were going to eat dinner as a family there, or were you just going to jump and let it get a sub for yourself with nothing else for your family?
No, they were going to eat too.
Okay,
but they were waiting until the meeting's over. But I was just like, like,
what are they talking about?
I don't know. I mean, school, PTA meeting, budget, I don't know, something. So then I start inching closer, and then the lady speaking sees that I'm like,
oh,
maybe...
do you want to say something?
No.
Come on up here. Mr. Van. Mr. Van, you have the floor.
Yeah. So then she sees that I'm like, and she's like, oh, go ahead. You can go make your.
Oh, do you have diarrhea?
And then I was like, oh no, you can finish. And they're like, no, wait. And then everybody's quiet, looking over. And then so I'm like, oh, thank you. So then me and my family walk in front of everybody, like the audience and the speaker. We're walking front, but there's
Four hook and ladders, please.
But there's only like 2 feet, so it's like every, and then they finish, like they start with the meeting, and so I start making my order. So then,
are you whispering it at all?
No, because the lady's finishing up or whatever. So then a kid comes up to me with a
you're my principal.
with a clipboard and a paper with like names and emails, and she's like, "Excuse me, sir, will you put your name and email?" So then I was like, all right.
Donald Duck.
No. I was like, because anybody who asked me to sign any petition or put your name and email, I'll just do it. I'll never say no.
Yeah.
I'll just, because it's too awkward, too much. I'm not going to be like, what is this for? No, I'll just name and email.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's why you signed that petition to shut down the trans bathroom outside. No trans bathrooms. He's like, yes, sir.
One signature doesn't do nothing. So then I put my name and email, and then she goes, and then whatever, and then so later on the meeting's adjourned and whatever, they do this
adjourned. It was at a firehouse sub. There's no adjourn.
No, but they do a whole thing where it's like
gavel?
Yeah, where they say now they do the minutes.
They bang on an empty pickle bucket.
Yeah. They hand like people take it seriously, and so they're like the minutes meeting adjourned 3:03 p.m. Like they do the official thing. And
You're taking minutes at a Firehouse sub. You're fucking lost.
And so then later on, Crystal's like, I heard someone say, talk about like how many people signed up for the PTA tonight. And then the girl's like, oh, we had 5 signups. And then she's like, I think you signed up for the PTA.
Oh, shit.
And then I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't do that.
That's like a Tuesday night meeting at the annex.
But one signature doesn't matter.
So,
help me, explosion of the week, blow me up.
now for other people might be like, who cares? Just, whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, this is too awkward for you.
But now that I'm already, now that I'm in this, they're going to email me and be like, here's the meeting. And then when I don't show up, they're going to take the,
well, why can't you show up?
they're going to take roll call.
Why can't you
and
show
they'll be
up?
like, oh, who didn't show up? Tom
Why can't
Van.
you show up?
Huh?
Why can't you show up?
Show up. Have a hook and ladder. Who cares?
You should just go.
You showed up to this one?
No, but
you didn't do anything.
You signed up.
I'm not going to.
You signed up.
But I'm not going to do, I can't change anything.
Then you're the perfect PTA member.
Maybe you can.
Yeah, but it's
Maybe
a waste of
you're
everybody's time.
not,
exactly.
You're not a career politician.
Can I just
Maybe
donate
it's time for you to drain the swamp.
No, but
You're
that
not a
doesn't do
career
anything.
politician. It's you get in there and shake it up because maybe you're like an average guy.
No.
The PTA is kind of made for you because the government tells the school what to do, and the school does that, and then when the parents don't like that, they go to the PTA and they're like, we don't like it, and then the PTA is like, sorry, that's what they told us to do, and that's all they do.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's a complaint.
I think
it's a complaint denial organization.
I think you'd like the power of winging around your big PTA cock a little bit.
Yeah,
but no, it's complaining with no power involved. There's no, you can just, I don't like the school lunch. The carrots are always moldy. There's nothing we can do, sorry. There's nothing happens. It's great.
But I'll get it out of control. Next thing you know, the PTA is storming the school. So I'm shitting on the principal.
Yeah, you got your foot on the principal's desk.
I'm holding an upside down Bible. Giving secret message. I'm not cut off for it.
Beautiful dog.
Here's the thing. I was flying under the radar before, and now I'm on the radar, and people are like, guys, Tom Van signed up and never showed up.
Ultimate prank, say you signed up for your wife. Ultimate prank?
What Crystal?
Just say, like, oh, I signed you up. Or say, when they
I
email
put my name.
You, no, but when they email you, email them back and say, oh, this was for my wife. And then just, like, say, like, you're going to want to be talking to her now.
Yeah. I'm going to have to get out of it because there's no way.
There's nothing to get out of. They're going to email you. You won't go. End of story.
No, but then now the other members that are involved are going to start talking shit, right? I'd be like, hey, why'd this guy sign up?
You do overthink that. Yeah, you think that, right?
Well, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Like, if
you would start talking shit?
By the way,
I don't even think you'd remember the guy that went up there to get his hook and ladder.
Even if they were actively plotting your murder, who cares? Like, what are they going to do?
Here's how I know how people act is because when people come up to me at the beer fest and they're like, oh, I've listened for years. I'm not a BDM yet, but I'm going to sign up today after the beer fest. I look on Monday.
He does. He does look.
And they're like, that motherfucker lied.
He does look.
He didn't sign up. And then I put it in my mind. I'm like, Jerry,
I'll fucking
I remember you.
Okay.
You lied to my face. That's what they're gonna do because that's how other people act.
That's real. Yeah, that's real.
Anyway, so I'll tell you about the football.
Sign up, Jerry.
So then we leave there, and the kids were like, "Oh, I thought I was going to be like running around with my friends."
Ladder?
And then so Crystal's like, "All right, let's go to the park." So we go to the park, and we get Max brings a basketball.
To the park.
We go to Kiwanee Park, huh?
Parks today. Is your park still nice?
Well, they did.
Maisie thinks parks are gross.
They.
I've been walking another dog story. I've been walking these dogs around a park I used to take my kids to.
Yeah.
Joe Kittinger down the street.
Yeah.
There's
Airplane park.
a homeless guy who lives there now.
Yeah.
There are, and you know what it is like we have, like the police can't do what they used to do.
Oh, rough them up real good.
Yeah. That was a better time. Where they just, like, the local community complains about a homeless man living in their park.
I'm not talking about anybody getting hurt. I'm talking about just a side of your foot kicking the ass. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
You used to be able to do that.
You take your billy club out and you bang on the top of their box.
Yeah, you're
and
up
you're
and
like,
down.
get moving.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
I've never personally witnessed that in Orlando, but prior to, I don't know, a year or two ago, I had seen Orlando cops roll up and talk to a dude for like an hour and a half until he just got tired and walked away. That was that. I swear to God, I've seen OPD like walk up to a homeless guy where somebody complained about him like sleeping in a doorway or something, and they just like talk to him. And he's like, "Listen, I'm just gonna go. Just fucking leave me alone." Yeah, that was the move that I'd seen a million times for OPD.
Yeah, because
pretty good.
They all have body cams, and then every jogger is filming them, so they can't go and then shoo the bum away. So now they just live there.
The last 2 times I've been pulled over, and it's a fun move to do, but I like to whisper to the cop, "Turn your body cam off." I like to whisper them to him. That it's just to see what they'll do, because I think most of them think I'm going to suck their dick.
So Max brings his basketball, but this particular night, last night, they must have had some sort of like basketball meetup at the courts.
Yeah, it's PTA night.
and then there was
I thought he was a breakdancer.
There was a lot more. Well, he skipped his breakdancing to go to the
basketball,
the spirit night, which he wanted to see his friends.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
yeah,
he skips things easily, and I let him do it.
All right, that's fair.
Whatever you want, buddy.
I think you are teaching him a worthy lesson in being able to just have a fluid schedule and never any.
Yeah. It's hard to make the argument like, you got to go help him. There's no team or whatever. Just a random people breakdancing. No one cares. I've been there. I can't even be like, oh, you got to go support that. No one cares.
So it's like if you told him that you got to go support the teacher. It's not like that, Dad. It's not like that.
Yeah. There's a different one.
Yeah.
Hard to find breakdancing teachers to stay.
A lot of them die. Fentanyl.
Anyway, so we're there, and then there's a lot of people on the courts, and I've talked about this before.
It's you and Max and 18 black teens ready to ball up.
I can't do the move where you stand at the side of the court waiting for your turn, because that's like that's etiquette where
you just got to let somebody know that you're like, hey, you just put your hand up.
Because, and even my sons kind of agree with this, because they were just like, let's just play football, because you brought a football.
They're 9 years old. They haven't been around enough to agree with what you're saying.
Well, since Max is the only one that wants to play basketball, and he's not good.
Does he want in on this game?
No. He just wants to shoot the basketball, and we're horrible. We're all
get that at your house. Then that's not for the courts.
Yeah.
Well, had no business
this night anyway.
Yeah. I can't wait for us.
This isn't white men can't jump. You have no business being out there.
But if he was good, then we would go. You know, if I could fucking.
You got to get him a basketball goal this weekend. You got to buy him a sand, the old water, the old water jug.
No, Crystal said that, and I'm like, that shit's just going to sit out in front of my driveway, kill the grass. No one's going to be out there.
But you kill their dreams before they ever get a chance to do it. You just look at it, you're like, you won't like that. I'm going to decide for you.
Yeah, because they don't do it. I buy them shit all the time, and then we'll have some shit it'll never be used, like that goddamn Ninja Warrior.
But you got to go out there and use them and show them. You got to shoot baskets every afternoon.
Yeah, but no one will be out there. It'll just be me. I don't even want to do that shit. I tell you.
Did they ask you for a Ninja Warrior course? Or
no. Crystal got him one, and we did it for Christmas. I mean, they would say that, we want it, but they've never even been on 2 years. It's still in front of my old trees.
Melissa said, remember the telescopes?
Yeah, no one uses nothing.
No one uses nothing.
But did they show any interest in American Ninja Warring previous to the course?
Ross, I have no interest.
Kids go to basketball, and he says, let's go play basketball once in a while. Why not get a hoop?
Yeah. Well, because...
You're on $200?
Yeah, because they'll never use it. I guarantee you.
I know what you're saying, but also the flip side of that is that you will have a lot of people that say, well, if you never try, then you'll never know. And one of these may catch. You have to try every single one.
They'll do 200 things that they don't catch on to, and then one thing will catch. Unless you don't do it for them, and then they'll never do anything.
Right. That is the opposite side. Yes.
Also, I looked at my sons and basketball's not in your future.
Sure. I didn't want to say that to Max, but my dad did have a tough talk with me because I did start playing basketball, and I did play on a rec league, and I did play with a jersey and the whole nine, and I had to have a very serious conversation with my father about why I was never being subbed in. And he, being a smaller man, had to tell me that I was not the right body geometry for basketball. And it fucking hurt my feelings really, really bad. It made me very sad.
So then we just started, there's a field right next to the basketball courts, and we just had to play some
white boy field.
some football. and then it's really like Tommy and Max versus me, and we usually play tackle, but the whole field was mud because it's been raining so much. So there's like standing water and there's mud and fire ant piles.
Yeah, look at me, I'm Limp Bizkit. You start throwing mud everywhere.
So I kick off my sandals, I go shoeless, and I'm straight like just like stomping around the mud. So we're playing football, whatever, and
playing mud ball.
And so it's my time to kick off to Tommy and Max, and I've been doing this for years when I play football with them. Is that I take it super serious, and it's funny in my mind.
I've seen him do it.
And when I go to punt the ball, like I kick it as hard as I can. Like if my life depended on it, and I was trying to win $1 million, punting as far as I can. Like because Crystal's also sitting on the park bench, and I like to do it to make her laugh, and because like why are you trying so hard? Like I have to over try because it's funny.
Wait, does your life depend on it, and you get $1 million? So like you're either
it's
dead
a lot of pressure
and broke, or you live and you get $1 million.
It's very much the plot of I think that what was that?
The Running Man?
Yeah, The Running Man. Thank you. Yeah.
Fucking love the Stephen King short story and the movie.
The book is way better.
Oh yeah.
Go for that.
And we're playing with like a mini light up glow football, this rubber, right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's not like it's tiny, you know. And so I'm barefoot and I got mud feet, and the football's muddy too.
That's fine.
And so then
you start imagining a guy behind you with a gun to your head and a briefcase full of money.
You see the money. Right.
And then I do as true form like an NFL punter as possible. I hold it perfectly, and then I take 3 steps, and then I boot it as hard as I can. And when I do that, it goes off the side of my foot, right, directly sideways into the basketball courts, like over straight. And then there's people sitting on the bench, right, like waiting for like their turn to play or whatever.
I got next.
And it hits this dude straight in his head, right, with the mud football straight in the head. And then I'm watching it as it goes, and then I started to yell like, "Watch out!" But I realized like no way.
Heads up is what you yell.
Watch out.
But I realized like it's not. And then
Ollie oxen free.
Have you ever been to a playground? It's like so.
And then it nails this dude straight in the head. And and when it hits him in the head, he immediately jumps up and turns around. And then I'm kind of jogging forward, and I'm like, oh, sorry.
Hey, it's a prank video.
And
it's a prank.
And then I do something that is kind of fucked up. I immediately blame it on my sons.
These fucking idiots.
Because
get them.
I'm doing the math here. I'm like, the chances are this guy's not going to get, defensive and start a scene with 2 tiny white kids.
Excuse me, sir, I'm in the PTA. This is all fine. And
I'm like, I'm sorry, my sons were, they're fucking around. I'm sorry about that.
These fucking idiots are fucking around.
And then my sons wanted to play for way too long, and but
they just brush right past the emotional wrecks of you fingering them for a crime they didn't commit. Like.
We never talked about it. I think they were standing waiting to receive the ball, so I don't even know if they saw me to blame them.
They still saw them. You pointed at them and go,
they're like, what do you think Dad's talking? What do you think Dad's talking about over there?
They lose interest, but they're looking at butterflies. They're looking at butterflies stomping in the mud.
I am amazed at a lot of the stuff that he says his boys don't know about, and they all talk to them, and sure enough, they don't know about it. I'm like, how are you able to live this life next to them that they don't? Like,
we're all oblivious. Hey, they don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what they're doing.
I swear to God, anything happens in my fucking house, anything. I drop a fork. Maisie will peek down because there's a little area between the top of the stairs and the kitchen. I'll drop a fork. Her head will appear. She'll be like, "Everything okay?"
If there's a hyper-focused, hypersensitive.
Everything all right down there? What's wrong?
Now, you blew the kick. Why didn't the guy kill you?
Yeah, what happened? Was he really mad? Or
The power went off in the house the other day, and then the boys are in the playroom watching TV. The power goes off, and then nothing happens for like 3 minutes. So I wandered in the playroom. They're staring at a black TV.
I'm like, that's the greatest story you've ever told.
I'm like, oh no! They're just like me, Forrest Gump.
Holy shit, they don't even need the TV. Go in there and watch your screen, your black screen.
Are your kids NPCs?
They might be.
Anyway, all right, let's take a break.
Do what you do in your office. Like he's thinking about something. Like it's just There's just a human sitting there thinking.
I wonder if there was something going on up there or not.
Yeah, like Dansby.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what, you look at Dansby's eyes, you're like, I don't know what's happening in there, man.
Let's take a break and do some voicemail email.
Yeah, I got a lot of great emails, a lot of good voicemails. You still got time to leave one if you would like. Yeah, it is a huge stack, and I went through it. 1-844-TOMNDAN. And then we got some good music for you. This is a super popular band that hasn't put out, I think the last music they put out was with Big Boy. Phantogram is the name of the artist, but they put out an album with the rapper Big Boy from Atlanta called Big Grams. Awesome album. Go snag that first. And then this is Phantogram.
Did you say they're Dungeon Family? Or
they are not.
Okay.
They're like a white guy and girl that do electronic music that just teamed up with Big Boy for the album Big Grams. Yeah. It's awesome. But this is back to their duo called Phantogram. The name of the song is Happy Again. We'll be back with more A Mediocre Time right after this. Show at tomanddan.com for those last minute emails.
Just saw in the news that mortgage rates are going to go down.
Yeah.
They're going to start to go down.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect time to talk to Brian Zymel from StreamlineFlorida.com.
Do you like how I said, yeah, like I knew anything? Like I had any idea what you were talking about?
I know gambling, and with gambling, it's good to get in early.
Yes.
Before the lines move. You know what I'm saying? Because once the lines move, the value is not there.
Yeah, we've heard this.
So if you're seeing now, okay, they're starting to come down, talk to Brian Zymel, come up with a plan.
Well, yeah, like Tom said, even if you're not ready, you need a plan. You need to be ready to act because it's going to get crazy out there.
If they move a lot, then everybody, you have more competition. Everybody's going to go try to buy their house. And then now with the competition, the prices are going to be driven up. Better to get in now and then refi with Brian Zymel later after they go down in a year.
But Brian can tell you,
get your dream house.
Yeah, but Brian can tell you way more about this. So that's why you need to reach out to Brian Zymel and StreamlineFlorida.com.
Yep. If you go to Streamline Florida, his cell phone number is right there under our logo. You click on our logo. It's Brian Zymel's cell phone number. Text him, call him. He'll answer all your questions. But the best thing to do is get a plan. He's helped out hundreds of our listeners. It's StreamlineFlorida.com.
Welcome back to A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan and Ross, and we're chilling out. We're about to do... You want to do voicemails and emails?
Yeah, let's
otherwise known as mail on mail. Do I even have that button anymore? I think I do.
Hey guys, thanks for calling 1-800-HOT-DICK, the place to find real action with real men. To make it even better, we've got new low prices. So low, we're practically giving it away free.
If you are a man seeking a woman, press 1. If you are a woman seeking a man, press 2. If you are a man seeking a man, press 3.
Mail on mail.
Mail on Mail brought to you by, let's say, Tom and Dan Hookups, still on our site on tomanddan.com. If you want to advertise your small business for $50 a month, that's where we have hookups.
We do. I know it sounds like a dating service, but it is not.
Yeah. It's just the business will offer some sort of discount to Tom and Dan listeners, and that's the hookup. And
just go to tomanddan.com for mail-on-mail hookups, like Tom just said.
Yes.
Everything we do is confusing.
Yeah, I just realized that. Yeah, really. In fact, like a corporate time. Like, why even name your show that? Like, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because the people that don't know what it is,
like a business podcast?
I don't want to listen to that, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
if you like dick, would a hot dick, like, say, you reach out and touch a dick, hard, yes, you want that. If you touch it and it's hot, is that good? Because the thing said hot dick in the intro.
Okay, you're right.
If you touch a dick,
I've never thought about that.
I think I would, like, if I touched a dick and it was hot, I'd be like, do you have a fever? Should we be doing this?
Well, more concerning would be a cold dick. I feel like.
I think it's hard to have a cold boner.
Write that down. It's hard to have a cold boner.
That's like the start of a bathroom reader.
Like if you have a cold
Here I sit broken-hearted. It's hard to have a cold boner.
What's the first email?
First email. Hey, Tom and Dan. Hi, thought. Imagine what it would be like for someone who went into a coma in 2004 at the age of 30 and woke up today with a fully functioning brain.
20 years later. So that people have gone in comas long term and woken up later.
Mel Gibson.
What do you mean? Mel Gibson did
Wasn't that a movie?
Awakenings.
Yeah,
right?
wasn't he? Didn't he wake up? Like,
Yeah.
wasn't he one of those guys?
Wasn't Robin Williams the doctor in that one? Or two different movies? Yeah, it is two different movies. Awakenings, Robin Williams was the doctor, and then that one was like Remembering Harry or something?
Yeah, it was something where, like, I think the premise was that man goes into a coma and then he wakes up and it's like, oh, fish out of water. Now he has to live his life 20 years in the future. You know?
Yeah.
I'm sick of those fucking movies. Fuck those movies.
Now,
The best one was Rescue from Gilligan's Island. When they brought them home from Gilligan's Island, and they like went to catch up with all the individual, and they were all having problems. But my personal favorite was the professor kept inventing stuff that had already been invented. Like they came to see him, and he's like, "Here's my newest invention." And he holds up a skateboard, and they're like, "Professor."
I like that. I'm gonna have to go and find that.
It's so good.
And for some reason, I'm thinking, I don't think this fits the narrative, but I'm thinking about Forrest Gump when he's not Forrest Gump. I'm thinking about Castaway when he's talking to Helen Hunt at the end. And she's like, and the Titans, they moved to Tennessee, and they almost won the Super Bowl. And then that's when he should have grabbed her by the throat and be like, what the fuck? You're my wife! I'm going to kill you! Because that's probably what I would have done. Why was he so cool about that? I would have tore that fucking place apart. Yeah!
well, he had a lot of time to think and chill out.
Or a lot of time to get angry. You want another email?
Yeah.
Hey, Tom and Dan, and guest, if applicable.
Hey, guys.
What if the astronauts in the ISS sent down a visual ditty nightly? Jokes, bedtime stories, just something creative to get us all involved so they won't feel forgotten. Non-political with a common interest. What do you think? Love the show. I think that's a great idea. I would tune in every night if you could, or a lot of nights, if you could watch the actual astronauts like live, and they tell you something that they did that week.
They do this all the time, and no one
No,
watches.
but it needs to be. But why don't they just take it? You're right. I've heard this before from Spencer and from you and other people. But my point is, why don't we take it and put it? Is it because nobody will watch it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Believe me, if
I'm
someone,
a fucking idiot.
I mean, they have the technology. They live stream from the ISS all the time,
but they don't make it fun, do they?
No, it's always boring science bullshit.
Sometimes they'll do look at what this water blob will do in the air, and look how we eat. And if no one's watching, they're like, "Oh fuck!" I imagine they're just stop doing it.
Now, could they potentially do like what they did with Big Brother on Showtime and do a ISS After Dark? Now, I'm not talking sex or anything, but the questions we all want to know. Like, watch me piss. It's floating everywhere. Or watch me shit in space. I don't know. That's we just do 2 episodes, it'd be over, right?
Having been out there, on some of the tours and stuff, you guys know they do this thing called NASA. They call it NASA Social now.
Oh,
If you go to Twitter at NASA Social, all the information's there. They'll bring out 40 bloggers or something and run them through a little private tour. And show them a launch or something. I've done that a couple of times. They have no sense of humor at all. Anytime I've tweeted something jokey, they're very unhappy with it.
Oh, I remember you telling me that. Yeah,
you're all engineers and
you
math
texted
people.
Something, and then you got admonished. You got chastised, right?
A number of times they were very. I think I'm probably flagged. They won't have me out there anymore because I try to make things fun and and I tell them when the application hey, I'm a comic and I will do some jokey stuff, and they don't like it every time. The one time. This poor guy, Miles O'Brien, he's a space journalist, and he was. I think this is the first one we went to, and we were having breakfast, and he's giving a speech, right? And they were also putting live. People were live tweeting it and then they put it on the side screen, right? And he just kept saying. He kept saying stuff I remember I was with Walter Cronkite on his final interview, and I said. Regarding interviewing me, he kept saying personal pronoun I and me. Every story he was on was about him. It would be about some fucking. He'd be and so I sat down with John Glenn, and my main concern about talking to him was that I got across that I wanted, and I tweeted the hashtag Miles O'Brien drinking game. Take a shot every time he says I or me, and it went up on the fucking screen. It was ooh. no. And like, I'm just sitting there like tweeting like an asshole like I always do. And to have like a reaction in a room to something, and like, I didn't like that.
It's like when you're allowed to put up like a picture of your family at the Magic game, and you put your balls up there,
And
I don't think you're allowed to do
for
that.
anybody who's a Miles O'Brien fan, this is before he lost his arm in that rock climbing accident. So I was not making fun of a guy with one arm.
You made fun of a one arm.
At that point, I was not making fun of a guy with one arm.
Let's play voicemail.
All right. I
And
think,
then I think later that week, I went to Publix, and there's like a frozen hash brown potato product called Potatoes O'Brien, which is like just some hash brown potatoes with peppers thrown in, basically. Yeah. And I think I tweeted it, and I said, "Oh, look, they have potatoes o' me."
He wouldn't let it go. I couldn't.
You spend the rest of your life, you just troll and bully Miles O'Brien.
Yeah. Him losing that hand took a lot of steam out of it. I really don't feel comfortable with it anymore, but I'm still at it.
I do like making your life's goal something super arbitrary. Just like, I'm going to bully this one astronaut for life.
For every day.
Every day the guy's like, why is this guy doing this? Anyway.
There are accounts that do that. All like
hashtag shit Tom said and Van says.
A lot of that stuff. Let's try this one. I think this is a good one right here.
Hey guys, it's Bubble Bath Billy, and I need Tom Van Businessman to put on his business hat for a second and tell us all how he would handle this awkward, sensitive situation with an employee. Which, by the way, this is a real scenario that's currently going on. So I know this guy, he owns a motorcycle shop. It's out of state, and they sell everything from sports bikes to Harley Davidsons. And they have a Facebook page, obviously, and they post pictures of all of their sales with the customer, the bike, and the sales girl, who happens to be, and I'll put this as delicately as possible, she happens to be an attractive blonde who had a habit of not wearing a bra. And then, you can paint a picture of the obvious visible situation that comes along with that. Anyways, so all of these pictures would get a bunch of comments, a bunch of likes, views, whatever. Most of the comments from creepy old dudes, obviously. But you would imagine that some of those convert into foot traffic in the store and sales from guys that see the pictures and either are super interested in bikes or, thirsty and just want to get their picture with this girl.
I mean, I will buy a motorcycle if the sales girl will rub her titties on it. 100% I'll do that. In fact, I think my dad bought every Harley he ever had just because, hot titties, I'll buy it.
Anyways, what's going on is recently she started wearing a bra. Probably got tired of all the creepy comments. However, the result is that the pictures are now getting way less comments, way less likes, and then again, presumably, maybe that converts into less sales. So, as the owner, obviously, you can't make a comment to her directly about it, but then you're bummed because you're getting less sales and less, publicity, advertising for your business. So do you do anything at all? Do you try to figure out a way to
get your titties
have somebody
out there.
say something to her or her get the picture? I'll hang up and listen.
I feel like if it's a small enough business, seriously, now I mean what I say here. I feel like
Bathtub Billy's bikes.
If it's a small enough if you and I owned Little Danny and Honest Tom's motorcycle sales, and it was just a small thing, and we had a sales girl, and we had Ross as our mechanic.
It's a small thing, then.
Yeah, but I think we could go cause it's a small enough place, you know what you're doing, we know what you were doing, get your titties out there, let's get to work. I think we could do it.
The thing is, you can't say that,
right?
Because
you gotta let her say that.
No. If she says it, it's fine, but you can't say it because
I can't say what's up with the bras.
You'll be sued.
You have to sit down. You have to say, "Listen, I called a meeting."
Very confused about this. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, you can't email it. You can say it.
It's not.
Don't put it in writing.
You sit down with her at a table, and you're like, "Listen, I've been trying to figure our online numbers have been going down, and I've been trying to figure out why. For example, this post got 20,000 clicks." This one only got 15. This post got 15,000 clicks.
Yeah.
This one got 10. I'm trying to figure it out. What are the differences? What are the
And then
what are the differences?
Do you go what are the differences?
Yeah.
And before you answer, your job does differ. Do you do that?
Yeah. What do you think? Why? Let's look at the comments.
This seems to be the dividing line here.
Right.
The difference. What is the difference? What do you think?
My point is, and I mean this, she knew what was happening at the time,
Yeah.
Yes.
And she probably wants to be paid for it.
Or she got, this is my guess, she got a new boyfriend, and he was like, I don't want you doing that.
You always nail it, dude. I think you did nail it.
I don't want you doing that. Because she doesn't care. She's been doing it for however long.
Yeah, if you did it for 100 motorcycles, you'll do it for 100
And she was like, take the picture, put it on the website, whatever. So she was cool with it up to a certain point.
Yeah.
Changing of coolness is a new boyfriend.
Yeah, her new boyfriend, Derek, saw it, and he's like, what the fuck is that?
They started dating because of the fucking pictures, probably. And he
bought a
knows.
bike. Oh, my God, he bought a bike from her.
Yes.
God damn, you're good at this, dude. That's actually 100%
Here's where you're
believable.
good, Dan. The guy's name probably is Derek.
And he's mad. He's really mad.
I got an
And he's
idea.
a broccoli. He has that broccoli hair.
Again, I have no idea if this is true. But
he said it was true.
No, not this. I'm just saying my idea and where this. But in the radio business, we were trained back in the day that you could do sexual harassment, but it has to be on the air.
Yeah,
seriously.
True.
And
they were like,
it cannot be off the air.
They said that. The attorneys were like, look. Anything you say on the air, and they were mean about it. They're like, we don't give a fuck about anything you say on the air. That is on
art.
the air.
It's like art. It's the only thing I like about art.
Right.
But
you can smoke on stage.
Into art. He's like, I can say anything I want.
Yeah. And so then but they told us that. They're like, but if you say it out off the air, even in the fucking breaks, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And then, they
took a real hard line on that. That's true.
But on the air, anything goes. Anything. You do whatever you fucking want.
Yeah, because we were even questioning,
okay.
using drug use. I use cocaine. I'm smoking weed. I'm butt chugging fucking vodka. And they were like, we don't care. That's fake. That's not real.
Yeah.
That's you doing whatever the fuck you're doing.
I would say, but it's real. I'm really doing this. I really feel this way.
But then you can fake kill a pig and be blamed for it like he really killed a pig. It's a wild west.
I didn't know he really killed a pig.
He really did.
I thought it was fake.
No, it was real. It was downstairs in the parking lot. It wasn't like he didn't do it in the studio or anything, but it was real.
I thought it was fake with just fake pig noise.
No, I think they had a real
the bubble.
pig.
Yeah, the bubble love sponge pig thing.
I think that was real.
Yeah. And that's why it was a problem.
I'm going to buy him a watch winder.
Like, you could do anything if it's fake, but the people think it's real.
Now, is Tony Soprano rules? Could he and his employee go to counseling together? And he could not say to the lady, but to the counselor, like, I have so much stress about running my business since she started wearing a fucking bra.
Yeah. Maybe in front of your lawyer.
Yeah.
But you have to be sexually attracted to your therapist as well.
Okay.
And then you have to have fantasies about it.
I'm in.
But so my plan would be,
ducks in my pool?
if I'm the owner of this power sports shop, which, by the way, was my dream as when I was in college.
Well,
I thought I was going to do.
I pulled this one. I thought you would love this.
It's only a matter of time.
I thought I would own a power sports shop, seriously. And so I would start a podcast. Power sports podcast, and then have her as a guest, and then openly talk about it.
No, hold on. No,
because then it's covered under the art.
No, hold on a second. Let me help because
I don't know.
I'm really good at helping and putting a little more clay on this. Okay, let's flesh this out. Follow me with this. This is even better. Not to use all your phrases.
By the way, this is how I talk to Sam on the show.
Anybody.
All the things I said was
so
true.
Ross comes in. Ross buys a bike. Hey, you just bought a bike, right?
Yeah.
You get to be on our brand new podcast.
Oh, cool.
Everybody that buys a bike gets to appear on the podcast with Cheryl, our sales girl, on the podcast.
Okay.
And we take the photo. We do everything. So that's kind of like what we do here. You get to sit in on the show.
But then on the
Tom
show,
takes him aside and says, "Hey, you can sexual harass her while we're on the podcast."
Anything goes. It's art. It's art.
This is the art rules. I learned them. But then that's when you bring it up on the podcast. You're like, hey, I noticed I don't bra.
I noticed you started wearing a bra.
And then you can say it.
Yeah. You get sound effects,
and then,
you got music.
But then after the show, you never mention it. So she's confused. They're like, were you serious or were you,
No.
You never
flip it on
say
her. You flip it on her. She's like, on the show, I noticed you were talking about my bra. You can't talk about that. I'm going to have to write you up.
I'm going to
have to write you up.
Serious.
That's only
that's
on air.
on my time.
That was art.
I would appreciate it if you'd be respectful and appropriate.
Yeah, and then you write an email. You're like, I want to be appropriate. Because I'm telling you, lawyers say everything in emails. That's what you do. Like, your baby daddy's not paying your goddamn child support. You write an emails.
Then you send her an email, though, and you say, I didn't appreciate you mentioning the bra off the podcast. Inappropriate. 2 more. and we have to get a new girl.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need a new girl anyway, because this one's going to wise up.
So you build pre-evidence in the sexual harassment case. Yeah,
it's like a form of digital gaslighting.
Digital gaslighting is my favorite gaslighting.
And digital. You hate digital.
That's the name of the show.
All right, let's try. Let's try this one. Right. Let's go with this Brian Flores one. I wanted to do this.
Please keep me anonymous.
Tom and Dan. Hey guys, it's Kenny. Yet another reason why EJ and his half knowledge of this topics he's bringing up is a hindrance to the show, because Tom was asking all about, if Brian Flores truly was insulting Tua and all that, and had someone who actually knows the situation commented, they would have said that, yeah, it was true, because Ryan Fitzpatrick actually chimed in and confirmed and basically said, yeah, Tua was insulted pretty much every single day. Brian Flores in the quarterback room would basically tell Tua that he's terrible and shouldn't be on the team.
Now, just to reiterate a little bit, this came out, last week, that it came out that Brian Flores, former coach of the Miami Dolphins, now a assistant on, where's he at now? Is he in Tennessee?
No, Minnesota. He's the defensive coach of Minnesota.
But he apparently had a thing, a deep rooted hatred for Tua on the Miami Dolphins. And, now, this does get a little bit worse, because what Kenny goes on to say next is something that I did not know that made me kind of laugh.
And Tua actually reportedly had text messages. Brian Flores would text message confrontational things to Tua, basically criticizing him, during off hours. So it was to a point where Brian Flores, in order to prove a point, was trying to make Tua, just basically demean him so much to prove to a point to the GM and the front office, hey, we should have drafted someone else, or please trade him for someone else. So he was trying to hinder Tua's performance and win with Ryan Fitzpatrick instead. That way he could get his guy that he wanted.
It made me laugh that he was actually bullying him after hours via cell phone. That's really terrible, man. If you're like, just wanted to remind you, you fucking suck.
Now, I heard people talk about this, and there are certain coaches, and Belichick's been famous for this, where, he's hard on the players. There's different types. There's the supportive coach. There's, lots of different styles. And then there's the coach that's kind of a dickhead, and he's hard on you.
To give you examples that we even worked around, we worked through a few coaches. When we worked with Adrian Heath at Orlando City, he was an asshole coach. He'll tell you about your ass. When we worked with... the next coach. I forget the guy's name. Very famous.
Yeah, but he
was a nice coach. He didn't have that style.
But my whole thing is intent, right? So is your intent to be hard on them so they try harder and you make them better?
Well, that was Adrian Heath's intent.
Yes,
I don't know if Flores had that intent.
But it seems weird to be that level of a coach and your intent is not to make the team better. Your intent is just to because you hate this person personally.
Yeah,
that's hard for me to believe.
Everybody's saying it though.
Even
Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I went and looked at it.
He's saying he was a dickhead to him or mean to him, but
he said he continued out of the... He was saying... I kind of took it as Ryan Fitzpatrick was saying that it went further than just at the facility. It was outside, he was like, this guy hates this guy.
But how would that help you if you're the coach of a football team? Don't you want to help yourself?
Yeah, but not everybody does that. Some people get... I hurt myself sometimes. Humans hurt themselves sometimes. Yeah. Because they can't help themselves.
Yeah. Do you make it that high in the league, being the person that hurts yourself?
I think you can. I don't think it's the norm, but I definitely think you can make it to any position and be mentally unhinged.
And I think the intent of this email was to shit on EJ. So I will tell you, a couple weeks ago,
us on topic.
A couple weeks ago at trivia, this motherfucker. The question was: this instrument is sometimes called a French harp. Sometimes called a French harp.
Oh.
That's the question. And EJ is making a real strong case for the lute. Famous medieval instrument, the lute. And I was saying, I think it's probably more of an ironic nickname, like calling a fat guy tiny or something like that. And so I made a case for harmonica. And man, we butted heads real hard on this one. And I control the paper, so I won. And I put down harmonica, which was the right fucking answer.
Yeah!
And then EJ, he keeps his own little answer sheet. I
noticed
separate.
that he did that when I played with him. He keeps his own answer so he can go back and gloat.
But in this instance, he had written loot really big for that, and then I don't know, 2 or 3 rounds later, we were arguing about another answer, and he goes, "I haven't been wrong yet," and I just reached over and tapped the word loot on his sheet, and he goes, "Well, except for that one."
It sounds like a blast. Next time you guys have an extra spot open, hey, I don't know if it's either that or the PTA. I don't know if I'll have enough time.
EJ gets to come along because his wife is pretty.
Yeah.
We like Danielle.
Awesome.
She's good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Disney trivia, fucking watch out.
We still have this hunk of shit arcade game sitting in our lobby.
What are we going to do with it?
I don't know yet.
I want to give it away. Let's give it away
He
to
dropped it off. He's like, hey, I thought you guys might want this.
Yeah.
And we never mentioned, we said we wanted a buck hunter.
You never said you wanted a video game for hobbits?
It was like
what are you supposed to do? Kneel down before and play Mortal Kombat?
I can play it. I can actually play it. It's kind of fucked up.
And then
I think he did it just to, like bully me. And then he just brings it. Sometimes he'll just bring shit over here. Like he's like, hey guys, I'm going to make your whole studio smell like Burger King. I'm like, fucking thanks a lot, dickhead. I got to put all this shit in the trash when I get out of here.
You can thank the Hideout for that. The Hideout used to let us hang out if we'd bring food up. So yeah, that's they trained EJ.
I miss the Hideout. What happened to
20 years ago?
What happened to old? I know we talked to him.
Dubs, I think, is still doing radio up in the Upper Peninsula, like the Midwest or somewhere. Hefe, I don't know what Hefe's up to.
We talked to Hefe.
Yeah?
J-Dubs, he
there was a sweet spot, though, with Hefe, and I didn't get a chance to tell him this because I wouldn't, because it was it's too personal. But he had gotten a new girlfriend, I remember, and this was like right around the time when the internet started blossoming, and you could find like really sexy photos of her online.
Why would you mention that?
Why not? I like to share. I'm a sharer. You know, I'll do that with anybody. Like if I'm going through Instagram and there's a girl in Instagram and I can tell that she has an OnlyFans, I'll click her link. And then I'll go to her OnlyFans, and then I take her name of her OnlyFans, the @ in the name, and then I put it into Google, and then I type nude, and then and it's magic. They're always there. They're never not there. There's nothing. There's no safeguards. Nothing is protected.
Isn't there like spammers or like somebody trying to like take over your shit with a virus? That's always my concern.
Because what happens is the cam girls and boys get in there doing their stuff. And there's no way, like, once you put those photos out there, people are screenshotting them, taking them, stealing them, and just putting them all over Google.
If you're not that popular, then that's your safeguard.
Yeah, but sometimes you can still find them, dude, because you never underestimate how horny people are. If I'm looking at their name, copying it, and putting their name, and then typing nude after it, somebody got there before me. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Always. I've never been beat. Or I've never made it there first, is what I meant to say. Like, I've always been there, like, every person I've looked up, I found pictures of them for free. Every time. I've never been skunked.
Yeah, because no one's ever had a unique thought. Because there's billions of humans, and our brains are thinking all the time. Every thought you've ever had, someone else thought of.
And somebody close to that person that has that OnlyFans knows and wants to see them naked, but also wants to steal their photos and put them out on the internet for free.
That's the part I don't get. Like, once you've paid, why are you trying to spread it to everybody else?
I wouldn't do that.
That is a weird motivation.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But people, I've never found one where I've gone, typed in the name, and that's funny. Can't find anything. It's always there.
Is it on purpose, like you're being mean to the person? Or are you trying to do
Taking
some sort of charity for everybody else? Like, what's the intent
I think
of
it's
doing
a Robin Hood. I think it's a Robin Hood.
Is it that, or is it you're like, fuck this person?
No.
I'm going to put these out for free.
Do these
that's what
websites
you're
have
doing.
ads?
What's that?
Do these websites have ads?
They're not the most savory websites. I mean, like, it's a bad website, but it'll be like, and they're usually like websites that are notorious areas where you can go and dump those pictures. Like, it'll be called like OnlyFans Spank Bank or Thoughts or something. Like it'll be like kind of like, hey, dump all your OnlyFans pictures here. But what's weird about it is that anybody, and I know people with OnlyFans, and like they don't know that people are stealing their photos and putting them out on the internet. Like it's just not, or they just don't care.
You know what I missed?
They can't stop it.
You were a huge fan of this too, Dad.
Remember
the Instagram account that would find girls that would like go fuck Saudi sheiks and stuff?
Oh, hummus face.
And then like catfish them with like Saudi sheik requests and stuff. You remember this one, Tom? God, I missed that.
Yeah.
So good.
Those websites, well, they were doing some pretty out there things. But.
And that was right when Instagram came up with the anti-bullying rules that like shut down Rolex Enforcer too. And that's
but he's back. I don't know if Rolex Enforcer.
I'm on his personal account, but is he busting watches again? Are we calling him? Holy shit! calling Rolex Enforcer? I can't believe it.
Hey, thanks for calling a mediocre time. Who's this? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, nothing much. I just want to see if Tom got on the testosterone yet.
Not yet.
But he wants it real bad. He wants it real bad.
I'm seeing how things flesh out with my all this working out I've been doing, but it's coming.
When he starts having cold boners, he's in.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, dude, I can tell you this. I'm 38. It's a life changer.
No, I don't.
My testosterone levels were like in the 300s, and I'm on a small dose, not like bodybuilding dose, but I only take 0.3 milliliters twice a week. Dude, you sleep better. You wake up energized. I don't know. It's a miracle drug. It's like Adderall. I'm on Adderall.
I know. Well, that's why we have a sponsor.
I know.
Everybody I've ever talked to that's on it praises it, loves it, tells me, and that's why
Praise T.
That's why you see Dr. Powers. Are you using our sponsor?
No, I'm in South Carolina, bud.
Get the
he
fuck
can mail
out
it. I'm joking. Get
out of here.
I think you can, though.
Yeah, you can mail anything you want. I found that out. I don't know if you know. You can mail gasoline if you want to.
Yeah, just
you can fill up a jug of gasoline and you put it in the mail.
Yeah, just don't tell them.
Yeah. What's the weirdest thing you've ever mailed?
Oh, shit. Huh. I don't know. That's a good question.
I mailed blood one time, and they freaked out. We should not have told them. Let's just say that that a long time ago, we had to mail a AIDS test, like a blood vial of a buddy of mine's blood in, because that's how you used to do AIDS tests.
Oh, my God. I just unlocked a memory.
And what?
This is a crazy one, and you're going to say why you're telling me this, but I don't care. I remember a time when we were doing remember there was a Notorious radio station contest, the Miss Monster contest. Remember those?
Okay.
So one of the Miss Monsters who won, slept with a lot of people at the radio station. Do you know this story?
No.
I shouldn't even be laughing at this. So one of the Miss Monsters who won, this is years and years and years ago. She was really, really hot. So she wins Miss Monster. But she was also very promiscuous and would sleep around with multiple DJs around the radio station.
Okay.
And then one day during the show, people that I know around the radio station are starting freaking her out like men because it turns out that she had HIV.
Oh, man.
And then she had to identify herself to 4 different people I worked with at that station. And then they all had to go get tested.
Really?
Yes.
And that's what happened.
You just unlocked a memory. Sorry, I stepped on your joke. I apologize.
Did you really have it, or was it one of these?
No, she really did have HIV. I don't think.
How many of them got it?
I don't think she had AIDS, but she did have confirmed HIV.
Because I have seen the person, and this happened in college to a buddy of mine, where the girl got mad at this guy.
Oh,
and then
fake HIV.
And then not HIV, but she said gonorrhea or some STD. And she's like, well, I have this, so you probably have it too. And then he had to go and get the goddamn
the ram jam.
Swab.
The swab in his pee hole. And stuff. And it was just because it was it was just a great revenge. By the way, I still think about that was good because she knew that he had to
Is
go
that
get
what
that.
You told me last Friday we were fighting. You're like, I have gonorrhea. Oh, shit. I was like, no, I got to get the pee hole.
Tom's fucked 3 different guys just to do this.
You motherfucker.
And anyway,
let's do this. Let's close out with this one. This is a good one. Good morning, Tom and Dan. It's not morning. A few months ago, you aired a Fair Villa commercial, and Dan made up a character called Doug Needs a Plug. Tom quickly shut this bit of roleplay down because plugs are serious business and not to be joked about. I think the character has legs, and if Tom could think of a counterpart, you'd have a new advertising duo in your hands in the same vein as the Safe Touch Alarm Guy characters. Maybe his character could be Tom Needs a Dom or something like that. At the end, Tom could yell, I hate plugs! Keep it plugged, Ryan.
That Safe Touch stupid burglar commercial is the dumbest marketing I've ever heard.
Their names,
I'm just trying to figure out how to get in the Tom and Dan studio.
Oh, you're trying to do that again, bud?
Yeah, it's the same thing we do every week.
People think that's me, by the way.
Their names are Bruiser and Cruiser, according to the Christmas song.
Wow. You're magical.
I think so.
You really are magical.
One
the
of them's
amount
Bruiser.
of
I might be wrong
knowledge
about
you
Cruiser.
have is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bruiser and Cruiser.
And every time I heard that at the radio station, I'm like, I get mad because I know that they paid some marketing agency a ton of money.
Yeah.
And that marketing
It's like
agency
the Frank
gave
Gay
up-
ads. Have you heard the Frank Gay ads?
Yeah, those are bad too.
That's worse. Yeah.
It's the Frank Gay way.
And
That's the Frank.
And then the lady's like,
Please press 1 if you want to be eternally tortured.
I don't think what they don't get about that commercial is like they're trying to associate this annoying lady with other plumber services, but really, when you think of that annoying voice on the radio, you think Frank Gay. That's what you're doing.
I didn't connect that, but you're absolutely correct. Also, considering that you can do most everything online, and I've never been put on hold ever with modern PI.
Now,
ever, not even once.
Is
I get a human every time.
is it a case where that it's just like the pigeons downtown because it makes people mad? It's good
There
because
is
it
some
sticks
of
in your
that.
mind.
Yeah, there is some of that.
Yeah. I'm
Does that
mad
make
at
you
that.
mad? Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I'm just like, what is this?
A lot of jingles rely on that. We studied this in mass communication even years ago at UCF. A lot of jingle writers even rely on, for instance, here's one that I hear on Real Radio, the one, WeBuyAnyCard.com. WeBuyAnyCard.com. We buy any, WeBuyAnyCard.com.
Yeah,
that is
we're getting stuck in
deliberately,
your head.
No, but it's deliberately made annoying. Like,
So
they could have
that-
done a
right.
better job. They really could have, but they don't need to.
Yeah.
Right. See, then I'm like,
It makes you mad, doesn't it?
Well, because I'm like, I need to know what their intent was. Did they purposely make it mad or bad
I think
so
they
that we
did.
get mad at
Yeah.
it? Because then I'm mad. Then I'm happy. Or I don't know what I think. But at least I give them credit. Or is it just horrible idea that ended up making people mad, which actually works, but it wasn't. The intent was just a horrible idea.
That is a thing too. I think that is a thing too. Like, there are
accidental success.
Well, there are also accidental ads that, like, I think people think are going to be like heartwarming and wonderful that don't work.
But then they end up working because people make fun of them or something. Because then
Peloton
there's
did that. Remember the Peloton Christmas ad that was basically the guy's like, "Hey, bought you a Peloton, you're fat." Like, that's what. Like,
and then it got internet.
It was like
bars.
the guy. The whole premise was like, lady wants to change her life, husband buys her a Peloton. It's like, that's not good. No matter how you cut it, that's horrible. But it did end up working because they got a lot of heat about it, and then on the flip side of that, they got all that free advertising.
Yeah. And then it's like, if she wanted that to change her life, like, that's what she wanted. I bought Crystal a Dyson vacuum before, and she still says it's the greatest gift I ever got her.
Yeah.
When she's vacuuming, and I laugh every time. Because I'm like,
Sometimes your
this
wife
is-
will ask for a stereotypical gift.
And then every time she says it's awesome, I laugh because I'm like, see? World. She likes it. She likes vacuuming. But it's true.
Two Frank Gay fun facts. As of the last time I was there, he has a full-size sarcophagus in his office.
It's called a sarcophagus.
He sold it off, I think.
It's a sarcophagus.
It's ornate. No, there's nobody in this town that can afford that fucking sarcophagus except for Frank Gay. And a friend of mine went to high school with his son, and he told me that. He's like, "Yeah, I went to high school with Frank Gay's son." And I was like, "Did you guys ever make fun of him?" Yeah, all the time. Like, before I finished the question, I was like, "Did you guys ever?" And he was like, "Yeah, we made fun of him constantly."
Oh, we got stories. Can't tell him. Can't tell him.
Speaking of a sarcophagus or a coffin, the Yeti made a coffin.
Yeah, for Liquid Death. Do you see
For
that?
Liquid Death.
Oh, yeah.
They have one, and then you have to bid on
And
it.
it's literally a coffin,
Yeah.
but a Yeti cooler.
And it's cool the amount of. I love one-off products because it almost reminds me of the motorcycle world or the custom
Yeah,
car
customs,
world,
sure.
where you had a guy and a manufacturing plant that came together and had to design a real coffin that has the real seals of a Yeti cooler.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool, dude. Like, it's got the rubber grommets that you pull down. It can hold like 380 beers. It's all lined with like really nice, pillowy, like insulated shit.
It's got rails for the pallbearers.
Yeah, it's with little skulls
Yep.
on it. Like, the attention to detail is so. They do the coolest shit, man. Like they're for a weird marketing company, because that's all they are. They're not a water company. They're a marketing company. But they're great. They do great shit.
I don't like them just because of that first promotion they did where you could sell your soul for a bottle of water or whatever. That one rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know why. Probably, yeah.
I like your anger.
Probably the episode of The Simpsons where Bart sells his soul and has to go on a journey to recover it. But yeah, that one rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like that.
Yeah. I didn't like, I can be critical of them as well. I didn't like the Tom Segura mouth open trash can. Like we were supposed to. Tom Segura partnered with him, and they made a cardboard trash can of him with his mouth wide open, so you could throw your empty liquid deaths in there to recycle.
Okay.
But it really looked like you could just put your whole cock and balls inside Tom Segura's mouth.
Okay, I'm sure they did that on purpose.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Just like the old popcorn bucket for Deadpool was Wolverine with his mouth wide open, like you could face fuck.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, like a lot of little things have been happening. Pretty spicy little, funny little things. All right, let's plug some shit and get out of here.
Nothing better than fucking some popcorn.
Ross, what do you got here?
Tonight, you can come see me at Framework Craft Coffee on Mills. Doors at 8, show at 8:30. Hope to see you there.
Let me just say, like truly, because I love this, and I can't make it to this one because I'm doing something with Maisie, but if you've never been to this particular show, start going and get in the habit of it, because I even want to make this show bigger. It's an awesome show that you get to participate, and you pick every joke that you hear. So if the show sucks, it's all your fucking fault, which is the best part. So go there and hang out and have a great time.
Yeah, bring your phone charged. You get to vote during the show. $10 at the door. It'll be a lot of fun. Larry promised donuts last time. Let's see if he remembers. And don't forget, on September the 5th, you may not hear it from Busdecker's mouth, but I'll be at the Orlando Funny Bone hosting the show for David Jolly and the rest of them there at the Funny Bone. It's going to be a good time, and it is going to sell out, so definitely get your tickets now, MoComedyJam.com.
Yeah, man.
We got the Bad Business Beer Fest coming up November 23rd, and Sofa and Suds the 24th. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving, so just put it on your calendars.
Yeah.
We're preparing for that.
It's going to be super fun. We got some other stuff in the works for you guys. Little special Labor Day show that we're putting together for you.
Yep, new BDM show on Monday. Labor Day ACT special on Monday. Yep. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, and you said something earlier this week that I just want to reiterate. We are like eternally grateful for you guys. That's such a good word. We love you guys, and we really do appreciate it. And you said it. I think you said it on Wednesday. And yeah, that's the perfect word for how we feel about all of our listeners. We are eternally grateful that in a time when everything is content, you choose us. So thank you.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, like
we have a couple options out there, and we know.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally go and just watch a security cam of people loggerying a Walmart all day long, but you choose to put us in your ears.
You can see pretty much anything except a live feed of the ISS, like any moment of the day.
Yeah, no humor up there. No humor up there.
You can just scroll videos, and they're good. They're real good.
They're real good. No duds.
Are you guys in Tony's chat group for this cruise that's coming up? This Tom and Dan cruise that's coming up?
Oh, yeah.
These people are going to fucking wreck that boat, dude. It is going to be crazy.
I think we're 12 days. 12 days of the cruise, guys. 12 days. We'll see you there. BDMs, we'll see you on Monday.
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't publish that. It's mediocre.
I am so fucking tired of doing podcasts. I'm literally done with them. I'm not doing any more podcasts.